So I will call the meeting to order, and we will first stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag over here. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then we will ask for a moment of silence. Be seated.
Did that in the military, they drop us 10 push-ups.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, we will start off with next up, we will go to the announcements. I'll turn to the vice chair, please.
This meeting is being recorded by the recording clerk for the purpose of taking minutes. Is there anyone else present who wishes to record the meeting? Seeing none. To the attendees of the meeting, a sign-in sheet is being circulated. The board asks that you please sign in to indicate your attendance at today's meeting. Where that sign-in sheet is. Got it. The select board meetings can be viewed by going into the cable videos icon on the homepage of the town website. And lastly, on Monday, September 22nd, the board will hold a meeting at 7 p.m. The next select board work session will be held on Monday, September 15th at 6 p.m. Please check the meeting postings on the town website for information to either join via Zoom or for the location of that particular meeting or work session.
Thank you. Normally we go to citizens' questions and comments. I'm gonna ask the board if they are amenable to us moving the agenda around and taking up one of our bigger items of the evening, and that is item number A, recognition of Commander David Camo. And then we could leave questions and comments for after that, if that's okay?
Fine by me.
Okay, with that, let's just jump straight to item number A. And with that, I'll turn it to Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. Tonight we get to recognize a long-term leader in our community, Commander Camo, friend of many, friend of mine. You can see by the outpouring of how many people came here tonight, how much you're supported, how much you're loved, and appreciated for all the work and service you've given this community and the veterans community. It's an honor to have you here tonight, sir. Thank you. With that, I'm going to turn this over to our VSO, Dick Cullinan.
Thank you. We really appreciate you taking the time and the effort to recognize the American Legion in Topsfield, post 255, and thank you again to everybody, men and women. At this time, I'd like to introduce the new commander of the American Legion in Topsfield, John Cassio, to talk a little bit about Mr. Camo, who has been our long-term leader. Thank you.
Hi, my name is John Cassio. I've been a resident of Topsfield for a while. And thank you all very much for allowing us to come and for you to recognize Dave. Dave put in many, many years. I think it's 47 in the Legion.
47 years, yes.
In post 255. He's been commander.
I've been district commander of Essex County 4 times.
4 times. I should let him talk.
So
4 times, he's been 3 times commander. He's done many, he's had many projects, I'll say, for the American Legion in our post. And I doubt very much if there'll be anybody else, myself included, on down the line who's gonna make 47 years as commander. But he's done a lot for this post and for the district also, and he's put in a lot of time on it. And we thank him as a post, as a group. We thank him for all the hard work he's done. And I want to thank you, this board, also for recognizing Dave. It's a great honor for him.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Commander, we have some recognition of you for this evening. First, we have our state delegation, representatives of our state delegation, Kristen Kazner, Sally Cairns, and a representative from Bruce Tarr's office.
So it is my great honor to be here to serve you, and although we've only just recently met, I am just so proud of the leadership that you've had within the 47 years of Post 255 and since 2007, the commander of Post 255. It's just that I'm sure the amount of people that has been involved in the post have benefited and greatly expanded and learned, and especially so much from you in your years of service. So thank you so much. And with that, Rep. Kearns and I want to offer from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Commander David Camo in recognition of your leadership and service to the Topsfield American Legion and really to all of the region for your services, especially with all of the other leadership positions and aid to the county. So
Thank you, appreciate that.
thank you for that, and the entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope of future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors given on this 8th day of September 2025, signed by Speaker of the House Ronald Mariano and myself, Kristen Kasner, along with Representative Kearns. So
Thank you, appreciate that.
thank you so much. Can we get one more over? Can we get
Michelle, you got it?
I got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Appreciate it.
much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Look forward to knowing more about you and all the rest of the
Bruce-
leadership.
Bruce and I go back 40-some years.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Bruce and I know Bruce.
and you joined at 35,
I
the
joined the
reserves,
Army-
so you sure made up for,
I joined the Army
prior-
Reserve when I was 35.
and you wasted no time and you accumulated many,
No.
many years of service, and so we're so grateful.
Yeah, I did 22 years on total.
Wow,
State senator.
wow.
State
We are grateful.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Senator.
Yeah.
See you.
It's a tight squeeze.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight. Senator Bruce Starr, I just want to let you know, Senator Starr speaks very highly of you. I know you and he go way back.
Right, yeah.
And he was crushed that he couldn't be here. Senator Starr had a death in his family,
Oh,
a very, very close relative. And, yes, and that's the only reason he's not here, but he didn't want me to make
it.
No, it definitely will. I'm serving in as his chief of staff, and he wanted me to make this presentation personally for you, on behalf of the state senate, and then, and make sure I tell you that we will regroup with you at a later date.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You and I will.
Bruce is very, very, couldn't speak highly enough about you, and obviously the Legion and all the great work you do, which, he very much appreciates. So with that, I want to present you this citation from the Massachusetts State Senate. Be it known that the Massachusetts State Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Commander David Camo, American Legion Post 255, in recognition of your 18 years of dedicated service, leadership, and patriotism on behalf of the American Legion, the community, and our nation. And be it further known that the Massachusetts State Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, and that this citation be duly signed by the President of the Senate and attested to by a copy there transmitted by the clerk of the Senate. Signed by the Senate President Karen Spilka, attested to by Michael D. Hurley, the Senate Clerk, and it's offered by your Senator, Senator Bruce Tarr.
Yeah.
September 8th, 2025. Commander, thank you for all you've done. Okay, thank you for giving me an opportunity to see you as well. Thank you. Yes.
One more, Commander. Sit down.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So Commander, the select board would like to also present you with a certificate of appreciation for your service here in the community of Topsfield.
And first, I want to say, you all keep thanking the board for giving our time. That is thanks going in the complete opposite direction. We owe our thanks to you and to all the other service members. We know that Topsfield runs with its people. Its people run as volunteers, but I think just more importantly, as a nation, without our service members, we would be lost, to say the least. So I want to thank you in particular and the rest of the service members here for that.
You're welcome.
I have to say, do you know the album by Boston, just called Boston, self-titled? It's a great album. When I got it, every song I listened to, I heard and said, that's a great song. I didn't know they sang that. That's been my experience with you, sir, over the last several years. Every time I see you, I say, wow, there's something else that he does. That is incredible how much he does. And again, wanted to express my personal gratitude and that of the entire board here. And so we have our own citation, a lot of paper for you. Town of Topsfield Select Board Achievement Award. Be it known to all that the Select Board of the Town of Topsfield do hereby recognize Commander David Camo for his years of service on the American Legion Post 255. On behalf of the residents of Topsfield and this Select Board, we hereby extend our most sincere thanks to Commander Camo for his outstanding service and dedication to the Town of Topsfield, given this 8th day of September 2025 at Topsfield, Massachusetts, by its Select Board and site. Thank you very much.
Here's Mitch.
Congratulations.
And evidently you're not done. Here's one more piece of paper, but turn it over to Chief Collins-Brown.
You're gonna need a also bigger wall.
Yeah.
I need a lot of friends.
Do you guys wanna come in? There's a lot of people, I know you keep looking, there's a lot of people in there, out there.
Just back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Make more
Yeah, here, come here. This is on behalf of the public safety team, they're all coming.
And they can let them behind the table. If
Yeah, right, you guys can come in this way.
Slide right on in.
Wow.
I'm not that skinny, but you guys just
Yeah, no, I'm so proud of you, yeah, that's great.
upstairs.
Yeah.
We couldn't meet upstairs.
Oh my goodness. Chief, are we at capacity?
I don't know, that's a building inspector.
Wow.
Isn't he? It's cute, okay. So we just wanna take a moment, as far as the Topsfield Public Safety Team, we've been working together for a long time. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of times about flags, a lot of times about veterans, wreaths across America, we were cutting edge.
Right.
It was nothing before they saw
Right.
us, that's right.
You're right.
Wreaths Across America was just passing through town one day and we developed it into a really big welcoming
Welcoming, yeah.
until they changed their route. But anyway, so from the Town of Topsfield Public Safety Team, the certificate is given to Commander Camo for your retirement for the American Legion Post 255. In honor of your retirement, we extend deepest gratitude for the unwavering commitment to veterans, the community, and the values of the American Legion. Your years of service have left a lasting impact, and your legacy will continue to inspire those who follow. With appreciation and respect, we acknowledge your contributions and we wish you the best of health in retirement.
Thank you.
And then we present you with a challenge coin. You know what to do with that, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, all right. Sorry, sir.
On behalf of all the veterans here, we know this is a very tough week.
Oh my
very
God.
important week. And our hearts
It
are
is.
with you. and
Thank
we
you.
understand that all your brothers and sisters, it's just hard to even think about it now.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be
Thank you.
Thursday at 10 o'clock. We'll be out on the common for a brief remembrance, but thank you. It is a very challenging week. You're right.
Yeah, thank you all.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
man.
job, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You mean you're not staying? Thank you.
I will do that, same here, take care.
Money gets me.
That's it?
That's it, thanks.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Are we dismissed?
Do you wanna take, Raphael, take a 2-minute break?
Okay, we're just gonna take maybe a 3 or 4 minute recess, brief recess. We can't shut. Alright, we are back in session at 7:21. So we are gonna go back in time to see if there are any citizens' questions and comments related to anything on the agenda. Yes, Mr. Dickon.
Dick Ann, 31 Timber Lane. My comment relates to the meeting about a month ago, April 11th, in which you discussed goals. And while you were discussing goals, one of the items had to do with the rail trail and the equipment and storage of the equipment because 10 School Avenue is being vacated for sale, for purposes of the sale. And the question is the equipment for the rail trail. During that discussion, one of the members made the statement, and I quote, to the extent a non-governmental organization, and that's what the rail trail was referred to as. I'm quite surprised that essentially there wasn't a lot of feedback very quickly, especially town administrator or something.
I hope it wasn't me.
No, well, it doesn't make any difference who, but the important thing is that we get the record straight. Rail Trail is a governmental body. The select board created the Rail Trail Committee some 20 years ago, you were there, created the Rail Trail Committee. It is a governmental organization. It has all of the restraints that every government organization has. If they have open meetings, that meeting, it has to be an open meeting law. They take the same things that you do for purposes of rules and regulations, ethics. They've got to do the same things. If they go out and do any bidding, 30B is under the same thing. I mean, there's no question. I don't need to go through the list of things. It's just, that's what they are. They are a governmental body. And so the issue became, why are we involved as a select board in trying to find a home for the equipment for the rail trail where we really don't have a responsibility? And I say, that's where there was an error. And I just ask you, you may want to do it right now, but probably more importantly when you're doing your goals, to think about the rail trail totally different. It is fully part of the town. So when somebody say there's a lot of volunteers, yes, there are a lot of volunteers, and that's good news, but you have volunteers on the Council on Aging, people volunteer to be on the Council on Aging, Board of Health, CONSCOM, all of those things, those are all volunteers. The same thing with the rail trail, volunteers. One difference is, and it's kind of an agreement that we've had from the very beginning, and again, boys, you'll remember this one, the issue was, well, this is gonna cost us money. And the commitment made by the rail trail at the time was, it will not cost the local tax dollars. And they have lived by that for many years. So, but that doesn't mean that they're not part of the government. They are fully part of the government. They do get grants as part of the government. And again, they need to follow all the rules that are based on government rules. So I would say the select board has full responsibility for providing a place for the rail trail that they've had for 20 years at the 10 School Ave. And at the time that we went out to do that bidding, the idea of an RFP under a chilly tent out here, we said that one of the things we have to do is cover for what's in there already, including things like the rail trail and the fire department and things like that. I haven't followed what's happened with all the other things, but I know the rail trail is still an open one and needs to be resolved. And we know some of the parameters for that. They need to have access to the rail trail or whatever as volunteers so that they can do their work. They don't have big trucks and such as that to do things. So they need to move their equipment around essentially along the rail trail. And they do it from here, from School Ave, they can make it very easily onto the rail trail. I think you'll hear more from the Rail Trail Committee, but I ask you to please support them.
Yeah,
It is a responsibility.
I appreciate your comments, Dick, because I felt that due to the great contribution they made to the community over the years, they're kind of de jure part of the government, but it's nice to hear that in fact they're de facto as well. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. They cannot sell that lawnmower that they have a tractor and buy a new one without the
without doing a trade-in or something of that nature. The money that they get is either from a grant or from donations that they get from the citizens. But once they buy it, it's government, town of Topsfield, equipment.
That needs to be taken care of.
Well, it needs to be taken care of, and they take a good job taking care of it, but it is town of Topsfield responsibility, equipment, and lots of volunteers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
Dick.
comments.
Thank you, Dick.
Anyone else? Any other question or comments or questions? No? Then I'm going to move us along to the minutes.
Ms.
Anyone wanna make a motion? Anybody can.
I had to switch to the item.
Move to approve the minutes of the select board meetings held, I think there was only one meeting held on July 16th, 2025.
Second.
Yeah,
Discussion?
I had one question about it. There wasn't there somewhere a listing of the different goals that were discussed, and one of them was how to treat as a goal or just an objective, not on the goals, the rail trail storage, equipment storage. And so I'm trying to recall, was that at that meeting, did we commit to having a memo about that, or was that later that we committed to that?
Don't remember if it was that meeting or a different meeting, but there is a commitment to making sure what we've been doing in planning is put to writing so the board can see where we
Yeah,
are.
I suspect, I think it was afterwards, but I just wanted to double check.
Was that under, well, okay,
This was for goals 1 and 2.
then it would have been our first goals meeting.
It would.
Yeah, so that's
That
probably
day?
before we got to that point. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, our first goals meeting was to say, we're going to talk about goals, get your creative juices going, talk to your people, and be ready for the next meeting.
Okay.
Then we've already done item A, so we will move to item,
Well, we didn't vote on the minutes. We had a motion.
oh,
Do we have a second? I'll second.
I seconded.
she already seconded, so any more discussion?
I guess I'm thirding.
Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And no abstentions, passes. Now we can move to item B, the Tour de Greenbelt, request for a cycling event to go through Topsfield. Mr. Hartunian?
Mr. Chair, thank you. This is a multi-year historical event that's happened in Topsfield. We have a representative with us tonight who can answer any questions and maybe add a little bit more detail on the event itself and what you're looking to share with the board tonight.
Yep,
Do we
hi.
need a chair and
Yeah,
a
we-
microphone?
Oh,
We don't need a microphone.
I can speak loud.
We don't put the hot seat
We
up
have,
there.
we have a new upscale system now, so
Oh,
I
okay.
don't think we
I gotta
need a
sit.
microphone if our secretary will confirm that.
Hi.
But we do need a hot seat. So.
Alright. I am in it.
Doug.
My name is Rachel Horgan. I'm the Director of Development and Community Engagement at Greenbelt. I'm here on behalf of my colleague Jane Rumrill, who is out ill today. So I am pitch hitting for her. But yeah, the Tour de Greenbelt is a cycle for land conservation for Essex County Greenbelt, which is a land trust serving the entirety of Essex County. I believe this is our 9th year of doing the ride, and the route does go through Topsfield, including a water stop on Asbury Road. So we are seeking permission to continue to keep the route as is. I believe my colleague James submitted the route details. I've got any other information, certificate of liability insurance. I'm very prepared, but any questions I can help to answer about the event?
Yeah, I had a question. I think we're all highly in favor of this, but I had a question about the map. I was looking at the map, and there's green lines, and then there's yellow lines, and then there's red lines, and I wasn't sure which ones.
And a blue.
And the blue, I'm not sure, although those are lakes and ponds, I think. I'm not sure which one of those the bicycles will actually go on.
Yeah, so it's actually the combination of red, green, and yellow. So we've expanded the route options over the last couple of years. The red line that you see is our shorter 25-mile road route, pretty much the same since the beginning of the race. So that one does go through, coming from Ipswich,
hitting into a little bit of a Topsfield and then down Asbury Road. And then the 50 mile, they're swinging through more of Topsfield on their way to that same intersection. The green routes, that's a fun new addition in the last couple of years. We call it the gravel grinder. There's a lot of folks that are interested in doing off-trail biking, and so that serves that purpose. And so it'd be great if we could have them all on a trail the entire time, but such as it were, there is roads that they must traverse. So that's an area where they're gonna pop out of Willowdale State Forest, come through the rest area that we have with some water and snacks, and then head back into Willowdale State Forest on the other side.
So this must have gotten very popular if you've got 3 different routes. And how many people are you expecting to participate?
Yeah, we tend to max out around 200 folks. So we're seeing more of a
That's a good
spread across the different routes in the last couple of years. So we still have our hardcore road cyclists, but then more and more people are opting for the off-road option. So it's kind of a fun way to diversify. And there's actually a lot of great bike shops in Topsfield that support that. So we're happy to be a part of that.
Well, it's kind of cool too, because we see them all, when they do this thing, we don't see them all at once, because they don't ride as a group, but they ride in small groups.
Yep.
And you'll see 10 or 15 people together, and then there won't be anybody, and then here comes another 5 or 10 people.
Yeah.
I know several people are gonna ride in it. I'm not one of them, but I know several people, a couple of people in this room that probably will, so.
One rode it last year.
Yeah, it's a fun event. And yeah, we're happy to continue the course with it, and it's great to show people all the conserved spaces throughout the county, whether they live in Topsfield or elsewhere. You don't see it until you really ride by it, and we also work a lot to put signs up on places that they maybe didn't know was conserved. So, coming from Topsfield headed towards that Ipswich direction, they pass some of our conserved places. So it's neat to see that in action and why it looks so beautiful where we live.
And the good part about it is that everybody knows what Greenbelt is. And a lot of us have pretty fond feelings about what Greenbelt is and should be. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a big awareness and fundraiser for us. So we're 9 years in, and we'll see it keep going.
And when will this happen?
This is happening on Saturday, September 20th of this year.
Just on a practical front, and forgive me, I couldn't see, but are there road closures or?
No road closures. We do in a few areas, not in Topsfield. I believe there's an intersection in Hamilton that they require a police detail. But the route is pretty tried and true, particularly with the road routes of trying to avoid any dangerous intersections. Obviously, we're relying on cyclists themselves to follow road rules. We require everyone to wear a helmet. So it is a little bit on their honor, but they're a dedicated group of cyclists, and they know to be safe, they need to follow the rules of the road.
And along those lines, I assume the police chief has seen the route as well?
Yes, this has been.
Speaking of.
Yes. I'm gonna speak on behalf of my colleague Jane. She's very diligent with all these pieces. If you don't have it, I can happy to.
No, we have no objections. I've reviewed the map. I've done this for, as you said, the last 9 years. Myself as the chief for 5.5 years. So we know the route, we know it's spread out. There's no need for necessary detail officers for that, because they're so spread out over that period of time. Asbury Street, Ipswich Road.
Exactly.
And then they do cross over Route 1, but as mentioned, they are responsible for themselves to safely cross Route 1 if we do have extra officers. But again, it's a long, drawn out route.
Well, and that's the point that I was trying to make. This isn't a group, it's a situation where you got 200 riders coming down the street and blocking the street. This is a long, drawn out affair. So if you want to go somewhere and watch the riders, you could sit there for a long time and not see anybody. But they'll be there because it's a wonderful event, and they'll be there, but not as huge groups.
No, we emphasize it's a ride and not a race. No one gets an award. In fact, if you get back too soon, the food won't be ready. So just take your time.
So by the time they get to Topsfield, they're kind of single file, they're spread out a little bit?
Yes, definitely. Even the 25 milers, they're more than halfway through, so everyone is real strung out at that point.
And they cross Route 1 at Ipswich Road, is it, or?
Ipswich Road, yeah.
Yeah, and that's just the 50 milers.
And no stopping for donuts at the corner? Or?
They certainly can.
Okay.
Again, there is no rush. coffee stops are an option as well. So, and when they come around to Asbury Road, we have a little rest area set up on Greenbelt property that has porta potties delivered, so folks need to use facilities, and then peanut butter and fluff sandwiches by popular demand. So, important nutrition.
I just got a comment. This is the one kind of event that, in my opinion, makes this area really a neat place to live. This kind of stuff is going on in our community, and it's wonderful that so many people come in and enjoy that stuff.
Yeah, this is a haven for bicycles.
Well, no
It really
question.
is.
Yeah.
Whether there's an event or not.
Yep.
Even in the winter.
Even in the winter.
Any other questions? Any motions?
I make a motion to vote to approve the request from the Essex County Greenbelt to hold their annual road cycling event that partially runs through Topsfield, held on Saturday, September 20th, 2025.
Second.
Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for
Look
coming
forward
in.
to it.
Yeah.
You did well as a stand-in.
I'll
Even
tell
though-
Jane, she'll be pleased.
Or a sit-in, depending on
Yeah. Thank you.
If I can, I'm going to see, can we go to item G?
I was about to recommend that very thing.
How about that?
The Council on Aging bus, so take this a little out of order.
Aren't you self-right?
I mean, unless you don't want us to do that.
No, that's actually fine with me.
Okay, let me pass it over to
Mo?
Mr. Hartunian.
Mr. Chairman, invite Kathleen Barbarisi, our COA Director, up front. This is something we've talked about. We were very fortunate at town meeting a couple years ago to get approval for funding of a grant to help us pay for about 80% of a new COA van. The old one is getting up there in age and maintenance. Kathleen and her team, led by Kathleen, put forward a grant allowing us to get that coverage, and with the contribution that was approved at town meeting, we've since, the bus has been built, painted, up, wrapped, the whole thing, and it is in our possession, and it will very shortly be up and running officially. Once it already has. We get the last approvals on it.
Yeah, it's been, we have the license, the plates on it, we have the inspection done. We just have training to do, which is happening next week. And sign off to pay them,
Sign off the thing.
we're good.
But it's a big win that we got the grant, and we thank you, Kathleen, for your efforts, and the COA board and others who are helping make it happen. A lot of seniors will be able to take advantage of it now.
This is a Department of Transportation grant?
It is.
Yes.
It's a great program.
Good.
We appreciate their support.
I'll be abstaining from this vote just in case anyone has any problems
I had a
with that,
feeling
so-
that question may have been aimed at you, but
No, I'm just,
It is a
Water
terrific
provider
grant
transit.
program, speaking generally. It's the Community Transit Grant Program. It's annual. And I was just talking to Rep. Cairns about it. She's gonna take that information back to other communities she represents. It provides these transportation or funding for transportation for older adults and those with disabilities anywhere across the Commonwealth. So it's a great program.
kudos to the department.
And I'm just curious more than anything, so we're approving the grant after we've already purchased the vehicle?
So it's the contract, it's the ongoing go ahead, Kathleen.
We went before, town meeting
Mhm.
and got that approved. And then we did present this as far as, we had up to $40,000 was my understanding to spend on it, that got approved. So now we just had to wait to find out like with all the different options that we chose, what the final amount would be, so we're just asking for the final dollar amount and the approval for that, and the signature to pay the vendor, which is actually Coach and Equipment. So they did the procurement, we didn't do the procurement, so we had to wait for them to send all the paperwork for that as
Okay.
well, which we've received.
So we received the grant money and then we're just gonna send it along. Is that what this?
Yeah,
But we haven't, that's what we're approving, right?
yeah, we have.
So the grant is for,
The grant's
How much
been
money?
paid. So we're responsible for $34,990.80.
the grant is roughly 60. And we're paying 34.
It's a little more than 60.
I thought it was closer to 100,000.
89, 90.
Oh, really?
Well, it's listed right here,
Oh,
it's
60.
93,671.
That's it.
Plus the
But-
34 from the town,
And then the 34 plus the 10.
so the
correct.
total cost was 127.
Right.
Okay.
Is it an F-350? Do we, never mind. Just wondering the chassis. So I'm still confused, we haven't gotten the money yet, we need to approve the getting the money for the thing that we already bought. So I'd encourage everybody to approve it.
This is a little unique how this one works because of the grant component of it with the Mass DOT and the funding and the timing. So because of the procurement, we don't go through a traditional procurement and have a traditional contract and then go out once the grant's awarded and the funding's available, once everything's reconciled, then we get the final contract from MassDOT, and that's what's in front of the board tonight, right? Is that right, Kathleen?
Yes.
Any other questions, comments?
Give me a little, for those that might be watching about how we spend our money, can you tell me a little bit about, I think this bus gets used a lot.
Oh, this bus gets
Can you
used.
tell me a little bit about how that, is it on the road every day? Is it on the road every other day? I know it does because I'm involved, but
So we have it set up so that Monday and Tuesday are general doctors and or critical going to CVS or some sort of appointment that they need to do. Wednesday is our shopping day. We have two. We have one at 9 a.m. and one at 1 o'clock, split the town in half. So they do shopping day. And on Thursday, we do a trip. So it could be anywhere from Boston, New Hampshire, out to lunch, breakfast, but we have a trip every Thursday. And then Friday in the morning, we also have doctor's appointments, as long as it's morning hours.
well, you've done a great job and I appreciate that, because I read Senior Scoop and I know how this thing is scheduled. And a lot of people that don't read that may not know that you can call and take that bus to a doctor's appointment, okay? And that's pretty significant in my opinion. And I have a hunch that a lot of people don't know it and don't take advantage of it. So I wanted to give you a chance to talk a little bit about that.
We still have the Explorer as well.
We do. And frequently, if they don't have a wheelchair and it's just a single person, we'll take the Explorer, just for saving money and gas and the use of the bus. So they're both utilized.
So this is labeled as a MassDOT standard contract, and it has a provision for a number of years, but am I right in thinking that this contract in a sense is the contract where they provide us the grant and the money is provided up front to be used for purchase?
Well, I understand with the grant, tell me, go ahead.
They purchase, they use their money to go through Coach, they purchased it through Coach, wait, I need my glasses, sorry, Coach Bose Bus Sales is actually who we're paying as well, our dollar amount. But the procurement went through MassDOT.
Okay, so this is what we have in front of us tonight is a contract between us, Town of Topsfield, and Massachusetts Department of Transportation. And that's basically recognition of the 93,000 that they're providing. Okay. So we're saving six thousand, right? We had 40 at town meeting, we're using 34?
Yes.
34.
We didn't get the gold rims.
34,990.
Do we need
Yep, we do.
a motion?
Yep.
Vote to approve a contract between the town of Topsfield and Mass DOT in the amount of $93,671 for the purchase of one Type CB fully accessible vehicle and to authorize town administrator Hartunian to sign.
Second.
Alright, any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions?
That'll be me. Not that I don't support this with every fiber of my being and
You would love to
both
vote.
my Mascot and Topsfield self. It's a wonderful marriage.
You would vote for it if you could, but you can't.
Yes, I will sit
Are
out
we
this
able
one.
to get a signature on the second part of it at this point too? I think I need two, correct?
No, you just need Raphael's or Boyd's.
That's right.
Me?
Or Boyd.
Or Boyd. Either one.
Who signs? I sign.
I'm the authorized signature signer?
Of course, it's got your name.
The contract.
I sign every day over your name.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Good job.
Good to see you, thank you.
Good job. Our
Okay.
COA does it.
Then we are going to move on to the next item, which is the Evermore at Pierce Farm new liquor license. I hope the board has noticed that we did get a lot more information, including, I know I'm very appreciative of the letter from ALAC, the advisory committee. So I don't know if anybody else had 6 hours over the weekend or before to look through all the documents. My review is pretty thorough. I've got some questions, but we can get to those later.
Yeah, I got a number of questions. I'm wondering whether how you'd like to handle it. You wanna do like a round robin, one question at a time, or you wanna?
I think we
settle
need to
on one
open the
person?
public hearing first.
Oh,
And we gotta open.
Of course. So, let me, right. In accordance with Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 138, Section 15A, notice is hereby given that the Topsfield Select Board, as the licensing authority, will hold a public hearing on Monday, June 30th, 2025, at 7 p.m. to act on a request for an on-premises all-alcohol beverage license for the following applicant: Michael Gallant of Topsfield Functions LLC DBA, Evermore at Pierce Farm Estate, located at 116 Boston Street, Topsfield, Mass., signed by myself, Raphael McDonald, Select Board Chair. So we can discuss, well, actually, let me turn it over to Kevin.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we've had this, so a little while back, there was ownership change at, it's known as Pierce Farm here in Topsfield, right, located on the southern part of Route 1. With that, we have a new owner who historically the property was used for weddings and events. The new owner is looking to continue that and has made some great improvements to the property. The difference here is that the new owner is looking to take the liquor license in-house rather than having third-party vendors come in to serve the alcohol. We always want to be supportive of our local businesses, and so I know our ALAC has taken a look. We've had opportunities to speak with Mr. Gallant and his team around the application. And he's done a great job. It's been a while since it was first proposed, as he's modified and provided more information that's been requested in the continuations of the public hearing to allow for the application to be comprehensive. So we appreciate that effort and the work. We do feel the same as you, Mr. Chair, that it's a very comprehensive and complete application for the board to consider. And that's sort of a summary of where we are, and obviously being a public hearing, obviously we'll have an opportunity to potentially get some more feedback and have the board, the applicant is here, Mr. Gallant and his attorney, to answer any questions as well, and to, if it's appropriate, if you like, you can also introduce the project to the board.
That would be, and I think at some point, we obviously want to hear if anyone is here for the public hearing portion as well. If there are any questions or comments, just make sure that you grab my attention so I can recognize you. Okay, Mr. Gallant, I don't know if you wanted to just introduce the project?
Sure, absolutely, thank you, that was a very thorough summary. We are new owners of Pierce Farm Estate. Traditionally, the alcohol has been served through a third-party outside vendor. We are looking to bring the alcohol service in-house. We do have experience with liquor licenses, as we do have a secondary hospitality property in the Hart. We are very boutiquely run. We look to continue the same format that was there previously, with doing primarily wedding celebrations. The property is geared towards weddings and has lots of features that brides and couples look for today. So we're here seeking the board's support in helping us to bring that liquor license under our control. We feel that bringing the license under our control will give us a bit more control over the hiring of those that serve the alcohol, gives us a bit more control over the safety measures of administering alcohol. And we have experience with that, and that's why we're looking to continue with pursuing the liquor license at that property.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you open for questions?
Yeah, let's open it up.
So I was looking through the materials, and I tell you that when I came, it sounds like it's gonna be a very upscale place that's gonna be a benefit and a credit to Topsfield. And I was about ready to head on over there, see if some of that food, those food items were actually available. They look delicious, but I know that's a little ahead of the game. But so I do have some more, other than complimenting you on your aspirations, I do have some more, some actual questions. And one is the capitalization. I see the Gallants and the Topsfield Functions organization are gonna be providing the capital along with a lender to buy the property and to improve it, or they did already, perhaps. But yet I also see where there's a junior LLC
Yes.
is a landlord that is gonna receive rent
Yes.
for some part of the property. I'm just curious, how does the junior LLC, which apparently didn't participate in any of the capital to purchase, become the landlord when they didn't actually buy it, when you and Topsfield Functions LLC actually bought it?
Sure. We have two separate entities. We have a landlord entity which owns the land, and then we have our operating arm, which is at Topsfield Functions. Strictly set up as a mechanism of risk mitigation, separating the operations from the ownership of the property. I do serve as one of the members of both of the LLCs. But we do separate the operations from the ownership of the land.
But you and your wife and then Topsfield Functions and then the bank, they bought the whole shooting match and made the improvements, is that right? They bought the property, the buildings, the equipment, and made improvements with that money. So how do you get to the point where this junior LLC is a landlord when they didn't provide any, when they didn't own the property or buy the property?
I would have to confirm that information with my accounting team and my legal team. Obviously, we seek professional guidance in the establishment of our entities, both from a asset protection standpoint and from a tax and liability standpoint. So to answer that here, I would need to round back with the affirmative answer of that.
There's somebody standing behind you that I think would like to say something.
I can touch on that one. So all entities are controlled by Mike. The property is controlled by Mike. The landlord entity is controlled by Mike and Mrs. Gallant. The landlord portion and the ownership portion are separated for legal concerns, separation of ownership, but everything, the property is a family business controlled by the Gallant family.
Are we ready to move on? I read through the entire process and I was really impressed with your whole thing that you're trying to do, and it's very impressive. It looks like it's really upscale. Struck me that you really knew what you were doing. And I appreciate that. I've had several people say to me, boy, this really sounds cool. I mean, Topsfield is becoming a place where people want to go to get married. And I'm not sure about that, but there are two or three places in Topsfield that are selling wedding venues.
I think they're more than that.
And well, maybe more than that. But what I read you what you were trying to put together sound really impressive to me, and I think you've got the background to maybe pull it off. And I'm not gonna talk about liquor licenses or common victualer's license, but I do have one issue that maybe we'll get into later. I'm a little bit concerned about people coming out of that driveway onto Route 1 after having spent a fair amount of time up there drinking and carousing and all that. And I wanna make sure we control that well, because that's a state highway. We don't have control over that, so I just wanna make sure that we do that properly.
Mr. Jackson, if I could, you nailed it right ahead. It's a state road controlled by.
Yeah.
Chief Hubby and I have talked about that prior to Mr. Glunt's purchase, that's a dangerous left-hand turn.
Yeah, it is.
Anything that would be adjusted from a traffic mitigation or safety would be something that would be discussed with Mass DOT, with the ownership, and find out if it's appropriate, if there's any adjustments that need to be made. But Chief and I have had a few conversations on that exact topic. It's been a wedding venue for at least 6 years. We haven't had, as far as I know, any issues with that turn. At least nothing that's raised to our level. For the purpose of the liquor license that's in front of us, it doesn't necessarily change how it's been operating or will operate that left-hand turn. But it's definitely something that's on our radar, and I know Mr. Glant, we've had, I think, a brief conversation about something that we wanna look at anyway, just to be safe.
So you're going to meet with the DOT to resolve whatever you need to resolve?
I personally probably will not, but it's something that the chief and I have discussed, and through our traffic advisory committee at our next meeting might take that up for considerations. Again, it's been that way for a number of years. There has been an issue reported per se. It's of the priorities right now, it's not the one, but it's something that's definitely on our radar, and something that I'm glad was brought up because it's something we've certainly discussed.
It's worth noting, it's been 10 years since it's been a wedding venue, so.
I looked at the history, Mr. Chairman, regarding that. My history shows that about 11 years as a wedding venue, where it's first originated. We have never had the incident of cars going out left or right or pulling in. Yes, if you go up there, the crest of the hill, somebody turning left, have grave concerns, somebody going up and going northbound. But history tells us that has not been an issue for the length of period of time it's been a wedding venue.
Were you ever called upon to have a detail there in those 11 years?
No, we've never had any control over it because it was a third-party vendor and they operate under different licensing. So again, we have never had a detail officer there for that 11-year period of time. So, we've never had an incident.
Can I ask though, just along those lines, a police detail and a traffic detail are not necessarily the same thing, right? So some of our other licenses do require a police detail. That doesn't mean they're directing traffic. I wouldn't want, or I don't imagine we're talking about having a police officer in the middle of Route 1 directing.
I told Mr. Gallant, there's no way if he wants to hire a police officer, they will not be in traffic.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
I would not never put a safety of a police officer in that position. You are correct, sometimes that they have multiple purposes. Sometimes they will direct traffic, like when you look at the commons, because of cars coming down, holler at the quick turn, that officer there with cones is monitoring the flow of traffic as well as trying to get people into the, across the street into the church parking lot. So they sometimes cross over, but they're overlapping primary responsibilities of detail for that.
The event, okay.
And to your point, I would suggest humbly that our question should, this is about a liquor license, not about how he funds or builds his business or the traffic on Route 1. None of that has anything to do with a liquor license. So I would suggest that we try to focus on what's actually in front of us tonight.
Well, I have a liquor license question, so that's perfect. Mike, can you just talk a little bit about, I know you have the Nahat business.
Yes.
And you have a liquor license for that business, which would be similar to what you would have in Topsfield. You haven't had any issues in the Nahat business?
No. We've had no issues. We'll probably boast, very strong retention. It's important that we have continuity. Very proud of our bartending team in Nahat. Everybody is tip certified. We do training, we do it annually, even though we have bartenders that have been with us, that preceded how we purchased 10, 12 years ago, and we still do an annual, training as well. So we look to be able to continue building off of our experience here in Topsfield.
And today you have the, I'll say the caterer, whoever serves the alcohol today, they just tell you or probably give you some sort of certificate that says that they're tip certified.
Correct.
Where with this liquor license, you'd have full control of it to determine that you know for sure that they're tip certified because you're getting it as the owner.
That is correct, and in addition to that, we're able to do our own training.
So I got a question. In the document, you say that you're gonna stop serving alcohol 30 minutes before the end of the event. And every event can go no later than midnight, because you've put that in as your drop dead, no, maybe that's a wrong phrase, as your deadline for no further activities after midnight. So, but you also list the alcohol consumption time period as to going up to midnight. So if you're stopping serving 30 minutes before the events end, and all events must end at midnight, no later than midnight, wouldn't alcohol service stop no later than 11:30, not midnight?
Well, consumption is different than service. If I give you something at 11:30, I assume that's a question for you. I don't know why I'm answering it, but I think that's my.
It says request permission to serve alcohol between 8 AM and 12 AM midnight.
Yeah,
So serve
we can let
alcohol.
him answer the question rather than having you argue with me.
I mean, I do enjoy arguing.
Fair.
Right, I can touch on that one. Yes, the explanation was what we were going for, that the last call would be at 11:30, and then the guests would have approximately 30 minutes to finish whatever they had before the event ended at midnight.
So would you be willing to change the language in the memo, operating memo in the application to say service of alcohol ends at 11:30?
We can clarify
Yeah, because there are other places says, under the requested on premises all alcohol pouring license, liquor may be served from 11 AM to 11 PM in a different place. And accordingly, the Evermore requests extended hours from 8 AM to 12 AM. So I did find it a little confusing. I think we're good, knowing your intention is midnight, the event ends, 11:30, the pouring
Stops.
call.
But it's always nice to have the language reflect your intentions, so I would appreciate it if you could change the language.
See, did you think anybody would read the whole thing? If I can ask another
We
question.
have a couple of people here that would do that.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
About the locations, because only one mobile bar will be active at any one time, but it looked like are they all mobile bars, or is like the one in the barn is a permanent and the one in the mansion is permanent?
We can touch on that, thank you, that's a very good question. So we wanted to be transparent and show you every place where alcohol could be served.
Yeah.
But all of that is very dependent on like what the couple would choose and if they would want alcohol service through the event. And any one spot would be active at one time, like as the ceremony progressed. There was one location in the ceremony area where you could have champagne. There was a location by the barn, which would be the cocktail hour before dinner. And then if there was an indoor cocktail hour because it was raining, there would be an indoor cocktail cart in the barn. And then all of that would change, and there would be the bar that would serve the dinner service. So only one location would be active, but of course we wanted to provide detail. But as the ceremony progressed, as you understand the different parts of the ceremony.
But it's only one,
only
you can
one.
only, okay.
Because I took that to mean there would only be one outdoor, but there might be simultaneously an indoor at the same time, but you're saying there's only gonna be one period at any particular time. Okay.
And similarly, I know you've got the greenhouse is coming and the barn. Is there ever any intention to have dueling events, or is this, okay?
No.
Alright.
Great.
I did.
You'd have to build like 4 more driveways if you did that.
I've never talked to Mike personally before, but I've talked to several people that have talked to him before. And I would like to say that it sounds like he's a quality guy and is willing to cooperate and willing to do what we might like to have happen in the town of Topsfield. So I would welcome you as a citizen of Topsfield to run your business. I would also say that I can't imagine being in the business of trying to take care of prospective brides and trying to figure out how all this is gonna work, because it's gotta be a crazy affair, but more luck to you.
Come join us any Friday or Saturday night if you want a first-hand peek. But you can't sell tickets. It's not an open restaurant.
That's right.
A couple other questions. I didn't see exhibits C through I in the application.
I have a copy here, that helps. We're talking about our letter or the,
I thought it was the application. You had the letter and it referred to all of these exhibits.
Oh, yeah.
And
there they are,
it's
yeah.
entirely possible I was
There's some
missing
exhibits
them.
that are attached within the PDF document.
Yep.
So that might be
I
some of what
looked
was
for
being
them.
referred to.
Oh, they were like in the middle of them or
Yeah, you have the
something?
PDF
Okay.
document, the text of it, and then there's exhibits that follow.
Okay.
So that might be what it is.
No, I looked.
That's hard for
Exhibit
me to
C
follow.
through I is what I wrote. I just went to the end and then ended with exhibit B.
There's 9 exhibits attached to letter C's, item C. Do we really wanna add more?
We have to, as the board, licensing board, we can't vote on this until the application is complete. So,
You have the copy, you've
I do have a copy here.
and while
It's on board.
while we're getting there, the other thing that we're supposed to have, I think, is the layouts of all the places that are going to have alcohol. I saw that, oh no, wait,
Yes.
I did see it for the mansion, I did see it for the barn, never mind.
Yeah, it's in
That was my
One-
original
one
note that I
outside,
can
yeah.
delete. Yep, nope, I'm good there.
Yeah, now, we have had some venues, wedding venues, and these are outside venues, true, that we've had concerns raised about sound levels. And I noticed you're limiting your outdoor sound to non-amplified, except in a couple of spots.
Does that have to do with the liquor or more zoning though?
zoning.
Zoning.
Sorry to cut you off, I think I saw where you were going.
Yeah. It's a
But,
question,
you know
it's a
what?
valid question.
Yeah,
It was in the stuff, so it raised questions about it in my mind, but I'm willing to stand down on it because I think you're right.
I think there was a lot of stuff actually offered in the plan of operation that we don't normally see. So I appreciate, again, the thoroughness and detail.
And there's no intention to have overnight stays in the main house, right? That's just
No.
wedding prep, bridesmaids getting together and doing makeup and stuff.
Yeah, no, that is not allowed.
And I have a personal request. Is it possible to never serve Russian vodka?
You're not gonna get married again, are you? God. Russian.
Okay. The only other thing though, I'm wondering is the outdoor serving, I think we have to have that separated in hours. I know we have to explicitly say that it's okay or not. And I think I get where the board is leaning here, but we have to specifically approve outdoor service. So does that mean that it has to be in the application as well, or not in the application, but in the license that we provide?
So the draft license that was prepared and is up on board docs, it lists the premise which the license is good for. In
In
that,
designated outdoor areas,
it lists
okay.
all the locations that was in the application and which the ALAC looked at and familiarized themselves with, and their corresponding letter was associated with all those locations.
Okay, great. Those were my biggies. With other, at least for the applicants. I don't know, does the board have any other questions or concerns for the applicants?
I don't think I have any at the moment, thank you.
Would I be able to offer a clarification point, please?
Yes.
So I think it was mentioned that the facility would be 99% weddings, that is true. But we'd also like to have the ability to have other types of events, such as celebrations of life, memorials, that type of thing. And also to have limited ticket events, what we're imagining, limited events like having a local chef come in or a local purveyor of wines or other goods come in and have tastings. So if we may, we would really like to preserve that ability to have limited ticket events. As I said before, 99% of events are weddings.
I think that was in the materials, and I had, as I read it, I had no objection.
Well, I wouldn't have any objection because my perception is those kind of events you're talking about could be or would be probably much smaller than some of these wedding events. I'm concerned about the size of some of these wedding events and how many people might be there, how many people might be drinking for 3 or 4 hours. And that's my concern, and I hope we can get through that. I would welcome the fact that you could provide some other event for bringing people to the town of Topsfield.
Yeah, I think it's more common now to accept the idea that individuals are responsible if they're going to an event that's gonna serve liquor for several hours. Doesn't mean you have to drink liquor for several hours. It means you can choose when to have your 1 or 2 drinks, you know.
Well, there are some of us
Actually,
that are
our-
that sophisticated, and some of us are not.
Actually, just to interject, our bylaws limit the amount people can have per hour. I don't know how that's enforced, admittedly, but that is in our bylaws.
The chief is standing here and he knows that, of course.
I think it's no more than 1 per person per hour, and no more than 4 in a day.
I question the constitutionality of that part of our bylaws, but I'm not a constitutional
I
lawyer.
have a hunch you'd bring that up.
And just to align it with, we have one other wedding venue, if I'm correct, the Commons, that has their own liquor license as well, so.
In Willowdale.
Willowdale's a little different because it's on state property.
Right.
And Essex Agricultural Society, the fairgrounds, again, a little bit different because of how they operate.
But the Commons has one.
The Commons does, that's
Right.
probably the most similar to what Pierce
Yes.
Farm is doing.
And what they do is they can serve inside, they can serve outside, they have different areas as well.
Very
So
common.
just to align it with what we have today.
That's the picture license.
Okay. Thank you,
Do they have any questions?
I'm going there next.
You were excusing them, the questions might be for
Oh, any
them.
questions for the applicants? Do you have any questions? Thank you. I know we have some members of ALAC here though, so I was hoping we could hear some comments from them as well.
I would hope.
Well, we're
Go ahead.
we're fine with the application, it's very thorough, and we gave you folks a
Yep.
report, the Schedule A.
Yep.
And those are our recommendations.
Alright, perfect.
Say something. Oh, I'm Nancy Luther, this is Rob Hardy.
And we're 2/3 of ALAC.
And
Most
again,
of you know you, but there may be people watching that don't know you. I can't imagine that, but
but again,
Thank you.
just to reiterate, thank you for sending that letter in. I know the process has been going on a while, and I've been asking Kevin to make sure we get your input, so I very much appreciate that. I think next up, we can take up some of the suggestions that are in the ALAC letter and or discuss our own if there's any requirements that we would
I think-
impose.
I think their application and memo is 96% in sync with the ALAC recommendations, with the
Mhm.
exception of what might be a typo on the 11:30 for serving alcohol. So I was comfortable that you guys had gotten together and come to an agreement. Right? I was comfortable the ALAC and the Gallants had gotten together and come to an
We
agreement.
had 2 meetings.
Right.
And
that's cool.
Thank you. And how about anybody from the public, if there are any questions or comments on the application? Okay, hearing none.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Michelle asked about the outdoor alcoholic beverage service areas, and the ABCC has issued guidelines for that. So, for example, over at the Commons, their outdoor service is within that patio with
Yeah.
Yes.
the fence and and that's the same type of place up next to the house that they're gonna be having.
And if it's just is approved, this goes to ABCC to review the application as well, and if there's issues with it, they'll make sure they note it before the board has an opportunity to formally vote. They should. So there is another layer on top of the local level.
So we have a motion here, a suggested motion, vote to approve it. 'Cause that's premature, it sounds like. We're gonna wait till ABCC?
No, we
you
approve,
approve.
then they approve.
Then they approve.
So, for example, if there are any limitations or what are they called, conditions, we want ABCC to review them and sign them off on them. I don't know that we can add any after we hear back from ABCC. Once we hear back from ABCC, we can approve it or not with ABCC's changes.
Okay.
So on board docs is a draft certificate that would be if ABCC comes back that you could potentially use as a template. It's in line with other venues and the conditions that we put on other very similar venues. And so just as a starting point, we want to make sure the board had something to work off of. And so to what Chair had said a minute ago, does anyone have anything relative to conditions to discuss? Just so everyone's aware, that's sort of our starting point. Might be our ending point, but it's at least something that gives relativity to what we've done in the past here in Topsfield for like venues.
I'd just like to make a comment, in my opinion, comparing the commons outdoor serving of alcohol versus what Mike wants to do up on the hill is totally different, because this is in the Topsfield Center and everybody can see what's going on. You're in a place up there where nobody will know what's going on. So you can serve alcohol, in my opinion, outdoors and nobody would know what's going on. Down here, it's a little bit different story. So I don't think it's a valid comparison.
Less disruptive.
Pardon me?
Less disruptive?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think the idea of having just one physical place serving alcohol at a time, I think that's a good way to help control and prevent excessive drinking.
So on there, I'd encourage the board members to just take a look real quick and make sure you're happy with it. It's very similar to the others that we have in town. It does reflect the 11:30 PM alcohol, no more alcohol cutoff time, as opposed to the midnight venue shutdown, which is, I think, more appropriate. It is appropriate as it is, 11:30 alcohol stops. Except December 31st, so except New Year's Eve, where they're allowed to run an extra hour.
Why is that?
Celebration that exists in other licenses is my understanding. But I think one thing to point out, and I hope this is your intention, is it's 30 minutes before the end of an event. And the way you have detailed it, that they can have 2 events in a day, and if the event ends at, say, 2:00, alcohol stops at 1:30, and then it can restart at another time. But to your point, Bob, alcohol is never served after 11:30 PM. So there's like a dry period in between if you have 2 events. Yes, that was your intention. Okay, excellent. The only other one I'd ask the board is, do we need to put in here as a condition that alcohol is only served from one bar at any time? Appreciate that it's in the project plan. It's not a condition necessarily. But if that is something we wanted to do, or we could say 2 or fewer, I don't know, or I would look to ALAC as well to tell us if there are state guidelines on how many bars they can be serving from.
Not that we know of.
Not that we know, but it is in section 4 on Schedule A, in service areas.
Yep.
As a condition of the license.
I would just ask, is it in the similar license at the Commons, is it in there? Does it say it in theirs?
Oh, outdoor?
Yeah.
So both ES and the Commons have outdoor areas, and in
Yes.
both they list the outdoor component, but do not stipulate
the number
if both can operate simultaneously or not. But you could refer back to their plan that they submitted to check to see what their intentions are. We know what the intentions are tonight here.
My only hesitation of putting it in there, I mean, I think we've all been to enough weddings, is it's not like everyone, we're done here, now we're here. Like, there's a flow to it, and I don't want to put somebody in a position where they're in violation of something as serious as a license because one bartender over here starts service while this one over here isn't quite done. Maybe that's not a concern you all share, I don't know, but that is why my only hesitation of putting it in there. Knowing what their intention is, but then the real world activity that happens at a wedding, I don't think we're worried that they're gonna be running 5 bars at once. But a hard, drawn line that, that one can't pour one drink till this one is poured its last, I don't think is necessary.
And the other option is we can limit it to 2.
Yeah.
I agree totally.
I mean, you do have occasions where you have a bar serving and there may be a waiter walking around with champagne glasses.
I think if we have 2, then that, and again, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that would alleviate my concern about an unintended violation of a liquor license.
And for me, it's if nobody else has this, you can't serve from more than one bar at a time. Why do we need to handcuff them at all? I do like the fact that you don't want to be serving from all of them at all at the same time. But I don't know if it's our job to handcuff you to that.
And Mr. Chairman, I make the point too, if there wasn't a condition on that plan that stipulates that that's the intention, it becomes problematic from the operational side and the public safety side. Annually, there is the reissuance of the license, so that's an opportunity at that time too to have a conversation with the license holder, whoever that might be, if they're not providing the safety levels that we need, and there's a need for public safety on more than one time or during the course of the year.
But for example, if they change their operating plan, they say 1's not working, we wanna go to 2 or 3, do we even need to be informed about that? It doesn't matter to us, do we care?
I don't think, it doesn't sound like the state has put conditions that would make it more restrictive if the town said they wanted to do something like that, relatively speaking.
It is not a concern of mine,
Okay.
so I will just say that.
Nor mine.
So when we send the application to ABCC, do we send all the attachments as well? Does a big giant package go to them?
Yes, I sent it through an online portal. Once ABCC receives it, they they call it an investigator out, they reach out to me, they reach out to Mr. Gallant, and then it usually takes like 2-3 weeks, and then they give us their recommendation.
Okay, thanks.
Alright, so maybe if I can coalesce then, using the ALAC letter, we take them one by one. There's capacity and police detail. I would almost separate those two. I feel, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, like capacity is zoning, police detail, that does exist in all the other licenses. I don't see any problem with that. But capacity, I'm wondering, should that be there? If the venue is able to seat 180, then they can't serve alcohol with that capacity requirement there. So I would.
And are these conditions that exist in our other licenses?
I think that what you see as the draft is mirrors what we've done in other.
I would not wanna put in any conditions that don't exist in other licenses, cause
But police details then you're good with.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to do that.
Okay.
So it now says police detail of over 100, you're saying take that out?
100 or more, no, keeping that in.
That exists in other licenses.
I recommend you keep that in because it's consistent with other applications, other licenses that we do.
And we're of the opinion we might change that as we go on here.
In the future, not for this application today.
Yeah, not for this, but
it would be for everybody in a more universal discussion.
So unless someone feels very strongly that we should be limiting the number of people.
No.
Then
I do not.
I think we keep the 100 or more unless waived in writing by the police chief is fine. Hours of operation, I think we were all in agreement, that would be 11:30 PM. I like having that 30 minutes before the end of every event as well in there. I think that is an important thing.
Mr. Chairman, can we go back to the first one real quickly?
Yes,
Just for
absolutely.
I wanna make sure it's clear from a consistency standpoint. Up to 99 or 100 more, depending on which license you look at. does not have the ability for the police chief to waive. This would be a new level or condition where the applicant or the owner could petition the chief to waive that. From a consistency standpoint, I would look the same way as what that number is. It's 100 or something different in the future. I would maybe suggest that we don't look to the we consider not putting the waiver on because it would make it inconsistent with the other applications or the other licenses we've issued with conditions. But that's up to the board. I just want to make sure that point's made that it's
Personally, I'm not afraid of that. I put great faith in our police chief, so if chief is signing off on it,
that's fine.
And I would encourage other applicants, if they want for their new license to be similar, they could petition that way in the next round, right?
Certainly, I would do it, make sure though, when the renewals come up that they're aware of that option.
yeah.
And if we decide tonight to condition this, we'd have to consider conditioning that in the future for those, or maybe now having to go back and we probably have to do it sooner than later.
Is everybody
before the
okay
renewal
with
period.
that?
Well, I'm okay with it. We just heard the police chief say, I've never had a problem, so with 100 or limiting it to 100 or
One
we've
thing
never
we
had
have-
an issue.
Right, one thing we have to look at, we have no control over venues that bring in a third party. You know, you can go right down the list of it. Pierce Farm, historically, Connemara Farm brings in outside venues. We have never had an issue, they could have 200-300 people there. So when we don't have controls, we haven't had problems, when we have controls, we haven't had problems. So, dating back, you know, you're gonna have some isolated incidents, from time to time, but it's not always alcohol driven. It just, people are people, you know? So I think it's a challenge when you sit there and try to put a number on it, going forward, what is a safe number? That number was decided long before me. I've never been able to give an opportunity to give my recommendation of what it really should be, and I think 99 plus is pretty low. So.
I think that we can have a broader discussion definitely on that. I would encourage us to do that for the next round. But in the ability for you to waive that, I would just then, if for me to support this, ask that you come and tell us if it's becoming burdensome. I don't think it would be. But if they're asking for 7 or 8 waivers a week or something like that, then I expect you would come and tell us that that's becoming a administrative burden. And again, in a few months,
I was gonna say,
2 months, we're discussing this.
we should, the next round is coming up pretty fast, so.
If at all possible, just so we can have policies, procedures put in place for any type of waiving, so we're consistent with its application. Maybe delay that on this license tonight and look for it to be more universally discussed and applied, just like the 100 number would be, cause I feel like this is something we'd wanna do consistently with the other licenses.
To which I would circle back to my grand point of I want our licenses to be as uniform as possible.
Of course.
And particularly given that we're already in mid-September. I mean, this license, if granted, will need to be renewed in 3 months anyway, right?
And that would give us some more time for us to discuss what a waiver would look like, what's appropriate, not appropriate.
Okay. Looking for the rest of the board to tell us. Marshall says don't. The police chief's ability to overrule the 100, include it or not?
It's not in there now, right?
No, not in the draft.
It's not in the draft, so.
It was in the ALAC recommendation.
But it's not in the draft license because it's not in any other license.
Okay.
Yeah, so I agree with Marshall, let's be consistent.
Bob and I agree.
Alright, we're all going home now. Boyd, how are you feeling
I'm
about
good.
that? Are you good?
I agree.
Michelle? Okay, alright, we'll take that part out, we'll revisit,
Yeah.
and we'll revisit the number 2 evidently.
Yeah.
Anything else on number 1, Mr.
Good on one,
Majini?
thank you.
Alright, so number 2 was the hours, again, we discussed that, 30 minutes before the event, never past 11:30 PM. I had questions on this one, authorized uses, which is, I'm reading the ALAC letter, just so folks are looking at, or sorry, Schedule A, as it's referred to. Cause there was some language in here, and this is where I get confused, so I'm looking for people to guide me about the differences between a ticketed event or not. Can I ask, the Schedule A had not be used as a bunch of stuff, I agree, or upon payment of a ticket price or charge paid by an attendee. And ask for the ALAC for clarification.
Yeah, the idea is, A, we don't want it to be a restaurant or a bar.
Correct.
That's open to the public. And then we actually discussed this quite a bit with Mr. Gallant also, and based on what we've been hearing here, I would actually recommend that we get rid of the last half of that sentence and put a period after generally. 'Cause that would allow
Restaurant or
for
bar
tickets to
open
be-
to the public generally.
Right, that would allow sales of things for fundraisers, for visiting chefs, all of those things that we've talked about.
I was gonna note that, you know, you and I have attended an event out there
Yes.
that we paid a ticket price for,
Test
and there was a bar, so, but that was a fundraiser.
And that was under a third-party vendor.
Yes.
So ALAC would change this memo, as you suggested, and resubmit it to go with the package, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, sure.
Or we can just ignore
just
it on
ignore-
their
yeah.
recommendation.
Doesn't
Does that does
I would-
the ALAC thing get submitted? No.
This goes to a little bit of zoning too, of allowed uses. Obviously, the application is for event and conference center. I don't know off the top, and should double check, but if a restaurant I know is allowed there or not, I know it would not be by right, it would have to be with a special permit as well. If a restaurant or a bar were to be opened, at the least, if it's even allowed, I have to double check, because certain areas on Route 1 it is allowed, some areas it's not. And so if a restaurant was to reopen, a special permit would likely be associated with it, meaning going through the special permit for that would trigger a permit to be looked at for the liquor purposes. So if it's silent on it in here, in your, like the other licenses don't call out restaurants are not allowed. It leaves some opportunity to come back, and there's a trigger for that to take place in the event the use is to change and it's allowed to do so.
Well, yeah, because it's here, that doesn't mean it can't change.
Right.
We love them, but they're an advisory committee. They're telling us their suggestions, right? Then we can take it or leave it, and if they're telling us leave it, then.
And like you said, this has a lot to do with zoning.
It does.
Restaurants
And the
and
application,
bars, and that's a totally separate issue.
zoning's gonna determine what uses can happen at the property.
Um,
A restaurant is not by right on Route 1, I know that.
I understand.
Alright, next up is the service area, and again, I might be overstepping my bounds, but no carrying to the premises or consumption of alcohol outside the authorized service areas. I think that's covered in our bylaws, the alcohol bylaws though.
I don't know that.
Alcohol bylaws.
No carrying is definitely in, no carry, you can't bring your own
booze,
alcohol in.
Yeah, I think it's fine to have that language in there.
It's
And they have in the diagram, they have a nice drawing of where the alcohol is going to be consumed within,
Well, what
which
I'm,
does not include the parking areas.
It's on the license in the first paragraph already. So when you talk about the service areas, that's contemplated in the first
Yes.
paragraph, so it's
Yeah.
already included, their recommendation in different words is incorporated on the draft license, so that's.
So we're good on that.
and I'm saying we don't have to add an additional condition.
Right,
Right.
it's already
Because of-
incorporated.
Okay. The next one was noise, which I think is zoning.
Nothing to do with an alcohol license.
Doesn't have
Yeah, I
any-
think we passed on that.
We
Okay.
did,
I was convinced to stand down.
I was,
Next recommendation was shut off logs, which I appreciate, is definitely in the plan, keeping them for 4 years. So if anybody gets shut off for drinking too much or whatever, you're written down. But I love that it's in the plan, but it's not part of our other liquor licenses, so I would
This one?
not want to put that on as a new condition.
No.
Um,
He's not one.
yeah, here, shut off logs.
yeah, I know
Number
where you're, I
6.
know where he is, I'm trying to get him, right there.
Okay,
Click
does
on it
anybody
there.
feel differently about shut off logs that we do? Okay.
I don't, I'm curious, if you were to do this, do you keep the logs and the next time the person comes for an event, you're like, no, you got shut off last time, we're not gonna do the alcohol? Like, how does that work?
And there's the complexity of, having somebody that was shut off, giving information anyway. But the spirit of it would be, trying to document the situation in which you
That's what I got.
shut off alcohol, just to demonstrate that there is a pattern of,
There it is, there it is.
stoppage.
Okay.
Noise.
And I also wasn't sure, reports, the licensee shall file timely reports and provide such information. I think this is also still covered in our bylaws already. I don't know if we need a separate conditions.
believe
Same thing with 8.
Yeah, I would say 7 and 8 are pretty matter of fact, straightforward, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, generally requiring you to follow the law, I think is, I mean, I think you would assume that of everybody, so.
You wouldn't have a job if everybody did that though.
It's true.
Okay, so
He's
then,
gonna come back someday and say, nah, it doesn't make me do that.
I can't say that about the hot.
so we're left with hours that alcohol may be served, which we already discussed. Including, I didn't see the request, but I know it does exist in other licenses. New Year's Eve is an extra hour. It exists in other licenses,
It's in
so
this
I'm not
license,
opposed to
so
it.
yeah.
So.
Is it?
It's in this draft license, yes.
But it's in
Which I
the
keep
Willowdale
downloading over
license.
and over again instead of clicking on where I've already opened it up 4 times.
So it's in the Willowdale
Sorry.
license as well.
It's right there. Conditions of license, I saw.
So
it
here
right
we're trying to give them a special condition that they have.
there. Here we go, right here, except the evening of December 31st.
Okay.
There you go.
30
12:30
minutes
a.m.
before the end of an event. Police detail when there are greater than 99 attendees, so 100 or more, greater than 99, same thing. And then again, remind me where we landed on this, whether we're putting in a condition about being only served from 2 bars or 3 bars. We
I
already
don't
ruled
think
out
we're putting
one.
that in.
It's not in
because
any
that's
others,
not
so.
in
Take it
any
out.
license.
Okay. So I'm happy where this is. We've got a few things that we need to do or not do. One, we are still in the public hearing. So we either continue that if we want to, or we can close it. And then we also need to vote on this or not vote on this.
You voted on it during the public meeting?
No.
Or
Close the
after?
public hearing and then you further discussion, then you can close, you can
I
take a vote.
would move to close the
And then-
public hearing.
I'll second.
All right, seconded. Yes, Mr. Gant.
If the public hearing is still open.
We haven't voted
We
to
haven't
close
voted on it
so.
yet, yeah. It's been
May I
voted.
speak?
Yes, please do.
Dick Ann, 31 Timber Lane. Just a comment on the police officers at 99 or above. I'm not sure what the right number would be and that, but I would recommend or suggest as a citizen that it is good protection for the town to, at some level, have a police officer at a large gathering where there's alcohol served in this sense. And I think it is actually a positive for the people who come typically to these gatherings. This is not a simple family gathering, it's nothing else, it's 2 families, but also, it's not, the people are different people from different categories that would tend to come to a wedding or to any number of things. And so the presence of a police officer, hopefully in a nice quiet way, I think is seen as safety, even for the people who come to that wedding. I think they feel more comfortable. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So you're in support of leaving the 100?
99, at this
99.
point I am, I know we've, when
Okay.
I was on the board, we
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about
we
it
are-
a number of times.
we are. It's-
I think
it's in there.
Got in,
just
yeah.
in
I think
general,
you're
there's some
suggesting
discussion about-
something different than that.
Please?
I think you're suggesting.
No, I'm not suggesting anything different. I'm suggesting that I like what the ALAC has put in, and I'm asking that you continue to do that. You may want to change over time, but as far as I'm concerned, it's worked very well. But especially to have a police officer where there's a large group, and I gave you the nature of it. If it was if there was an annual gathering of a family that went up to 300 or something, there still may be fights and things. But it's different from totally different people from different categories, different areas, whatever, coming together that you don't know about with the wedding, that we don't know about. I think it's very helpful. Plus, it is helpful for the attendees to see that, hopefully with discretion. And when they come to Topsfield, they feel safe.
Yep. And just to clarify, we are keeping that in there.
Thank you.
We are.
It's consistent with every other license.
Yep. And to your point, you never know when a Capulet could marry a Montague.
Hatfield and a McCoy.
More modern. That's right. Okay, so we have had a motion and a second to close the public meeting. Yeah, public hearing. Any other comments on that? Alright, all those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the public hearing is closed. Next up is the actual license itself, which again, we can, seems like we're all in agreement, so.
I'm gonna go ahead and make the motion and then we can see if there's any discussion. I'll move to approve the 2025 common victualers license for the Evermore.
No, not common victualers.
We're not on victualers, we're still on alcohol.
Look at the paper, look at the piece of
Drink
paper I
first,
gave
eat
you, I'm
second.
sorry.
Ow, you people, I'm just trying to move us along and now I've screwed up and slowed us down.
See, you haven't been gone very long, but look what happened.
That's what you get for trying to help.
You know what, I'm done talking.
You want me to?
A move to approve the request from Michael Gallant of Topsfield Functions LLC DBA The Evermore at Pierce Farm Estate for an all-alcohol beverage license for 116 Boston Street, Topsfield, Mass. 01983 for 2025 and to be eligible for annual review and renewal.
Second.
Is that the one you wanted me to read?
That sounds
Any
like
other
one.
discussion?
After towards the end, after the word in the year for 2025, can we add the phrase, with a condition of changing the language in the various documents to indicate an 11:30 cutoff for service of alcohol?
The document that
And to be
we're
eligible.
looking at.
All we're approving
has-
is that license. We're not approving their plan, just their license. And the license has 11:30 clearly out.
So
Am I
the
looking at the right
11:30 did
license?
get uploaded?
Yes, it's on board docs, if you refresh, you have to refresh board docs. But I updated the license to show 11:30 PM as we were in board docs.
Would you say approving the plan and the
Here.
license as with its
Right there.
If you want, do you want them to just literally just cross it out, write it here, initial on this document?
Well, the licenses are gonna go.
The license is
And it's gonna say
11:30.
11:30, so that's exactly how we want it.
Yep.
But then you're also gonna send them the operating
Application.
plan
Mm-hmm.
and the Evermore application, which say midnight.
So
They'll want the
So-
motion and the vote as well, I believe. And if you do it as proposed or with those, if you wanna spell that out specifically in the motion, because there is a conflicting times in the actual plan. You just belt and suspender it, you can do
do you
that
want
as
them,
well.
we can just have
You
you,
re-motion with that.
So you're saying my language suggestion is not intolerable?
I think it's a fantastic suggestion, Mr. Metz. I just put it into the motion.
can we just have them change it right now and leave the motion as is?
Yes.
There's a few places though.
We're
It's a
going.
long
Sorry.
project plan.
Alright, try this again.
That's one of the places I saw.
Which document is this on board docs?
It's the one that
It says
says
draft.
It's a draft.
draft dash the Evermore at Pierce Farm Estate 2025 license .doc.
Thank you very much.
I've been updating it as you've been talking, hence Marshall downloading it 3 different times.
Okay, so in the operations document, plan of operations on page 4, operating hours, second line.
Thank you.
This might be, well, someone can control F it, cause that's what we're looking for.
Control what?
F, find,
Now, the
cause
first,
that's a hard copy, so find all the places where it mentions midnight.
well, you've also got the regular operations until midnight, so that's,
No, that's fine, no, right, you can skip
that's
those.
gonna pop up with a search and find.
You can skip those.
See, on the license itself and the vote to approve the draft, it's ultimately what they'll look at. So if the application said they wanted to go till 2 in the morning and we said 11:30, This is what ABCC will look at anyway, cause that's what the town's conditioned, is that's the
And then
time.
once ABCC approves everything, we will get this back. I'm gonna put a number, like a license number on here. And then you are going to vote to approve this license and sign it all up.
So for all intents and purposes,
Appreciate you.
this is layers on top of that document. What's there is important because that's the detail.
Yep.
But anything that conflicts, this license as you vote would be what ABCC would look to say that's what the town's
This is gospel.
approving.
And our minutes are going to say service
Yep.
ends at 11:30.
So if anything, it
Which
just
is
helps
why I'm not
ABCC not be
tremendously
confused.
concerned
Yeah.
about the 400-page document.
Okay,
Do
Ish.
you agree with that?
okay.
So I opened up Board Doc, I read this stuff this afternoon, so I opened up Board Docs when I got to the meeting. The actual license that we're sending in, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 exhibits. Which one?
One labeled draft at the very bottom.
That's the license.
Okay. There was an error processing your request, please use your
I can't get
browser
it either,
back-
it won't come up on mine.
Have you refreshed Board Docs?
Passing over.
Well, I opened it up when I got here.
Yeah, but she's been making changes while we're.
So you have to refresh it.
Oh,
As
you
you've been
are a-
discussing,
Setting new records in contemporaneous.
as you are discussing it, I've been updating the
But
document.
that's got the only one bar at a time, and we're not including
We are not including
that. It's just like she had it on Board Docs, it's like she
the last
knew.
time. The last update is correct.
Yep,
Okay.
okay. Anyone else?
No wonder I couldn't.
I'd just like to, I'm ready to vote, but I just wanna make a comment. I appreciate the effort that ALAC put into this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Your list was compelling and complete and important to us.
And brief and digestible.
And I'd like to thank Dick for your comments earlier, because that's important. And Mike, I'd like to say, if you've ever got a problem with this kind of thing, and because of this kind of event, and you feel reluctant to come back to us to get a clarification, please don't hesitate, because we need your input. I mean, I look forward to have you being a respected business in town, and what you put forward to me reflects that you're gonna be that, so I'm looking forward to moving on.
I look forward to the fact that you already are, we're just changing who has the license.
Thank you all.
We wanna make this work, so
Yeah.
try to work together.
We had a motion, sorry. Go
I
ahead.
just want to continue.
Alright, we had a motion, did we get a second?
Michelle second.
Michelle seconded, okay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So to ABCC we go. Thank you very much, everybody, I appreciate the long.
That was a toughie.
If I may, I just wanna thank all of you for the spirited conversation, I appreciate it. ALAC was very kind to sit and meet with us 2 times, and you know, they were a big backbone of what it culminated the documentation that you had in front of all of you. So thank you for spending the time with us, and thank all of you for being spirited and supportive. Thank
We
you.
can't wait to get invited to a
I'm
wedding.
looking forward to coming to Evermore for a party.
Looking forward to having you.
You're getting dangerously close to a conflict of interest.
Don't go too far, we still have the common vic license. Oh, that's
Next
right.
agenda item
Yeah.
is the common victualers license.
Yes. This is easy.
Hopefully, we don't have a robust discussion around
We
this
don't need a
one.
public hearing for this, right? We're just talking.
No, we don't need a public hearing for this one.
I had a question, which is, I noticed you have 65 parking spaces, and you're having events up to 156 people. Does that, I know that that's probably roughly what they've been doing for 10 years. You feel that's adequate parking for 150 people, 65 spaces?
I can touch on that. So, we've actually added, I mean, they had less for the 10 years they were operating. As part of our, approvals with the ZBA, we've added some, with permeable, stuff there with the stormwater, but
Yeah.
we're trying to add more where we can. We're actually trying to center them closer to, the house in order to contain noise in that area, but we've operated, the place is operated with that number of spaces. We're trying to add more where we can, but we haven't had a parking problem.
Okay.
Well, even if one comes up, you can't park on Route 1. So you gotta find a place to put them if they show up.
I guess worst case, park them in a public parking lot and bus them in.
We haven't,
If you have to.
there hasn't been an issue, the guest capacity, the guest count has not changed. It's been 156, so they've operated that way, and as part of some of our earlier approvals, we did add some additional parking that just added convenience, not due to a capacity issue, but more just for convenience and proximity of guest parking.
Okay. And I noticed in the inspection report, there's two kitchens, the barn and the main house, as you call it. And the report from the Board of Health, I think it is, seems to talk about a kitchen. Did they look at both of the kitchens when they did their inspection and report?
So Mike, please correct me if I'm wrong. So the actual service kitchen is the barn. That's where the preparation of food happens for events. But there is another kitchen located in the house. We don't plan to serve food from there.
Okay.
But the main actual kitchen with the equipment and what have you for events is located in the basement of the barn.
Because
Can I ask, the only drawing in this application is for the mansion though?
We can supplement with an additional drawing, but there are multiple kitchens, but as I said, the main kitchen.
The house kitchen is just an ancillary kitchen. All of the commercial kitchen, with the hood system, the Ansel system, the primary function that the Board of Health would inspect would be the barn kitchen. The home, does have an additional kitchen. Right now there's a fridge and a toaster oven in there.
I'm saying the other way around.
Was the
I think.
toaster oven inspected by the?
I would request then that there's no picture of the barn, no drawing of the barn, and it says 7 copies, well, that's a lot of copies, showing all seats, entrances, exits, receiving area, and other relevant information. That's what I didn't see
Oh, well, that
related
might be
to
in the
the
liquor
barn.
license.
It is in the liquor license. It is in the liquor license, but this is a separate license, right? So
Do you want me to copy and
Yeah,
paste and
I'm
upload it to the?
I'm looking at the license.
I think we have to have that in this license as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
She's
but
gonna
if
kill
the
me.
barn is the main
Oh.
kitchen, we should have the diagrams be of the barn kitchen, not of the mansion kitchen.
No, hold on, which one is it?
Diagram of the barn kitchen.
Here, and I'll upload it to board docs.
You never
I'm
knew.
gonna look at the menus while they
Like,
talk.
oh, you're gonna make yourself
Don't look at
hungry.
that, You'll go home hungry.
Do you want me to scan it to your email?
Is it, which one is it? I just uploaded.
It's a very creative appetite.
Ooh, herb pesto stuffed chicken.
This one?
I like that.
Oh, perfect, I'm just gonna upload this entire document. Plan of operation.
He's really getting ready to go to dinner.
Grilled filet mignon. Listen, I had a peanut butter cup for dinner tonight, so this is looking pretty good right now. I just had a whatever that was,
Protein.
Kit Kat for dessert, so.
The other thing,
And then there's gonna be
So-
no cooking in the hidden garden / greenhouse. The food is just all brought out to there.
okay, so all cooking's gonna be in the barn. And this license, the victualler's license says approved for seating capacity of 240 with 40 parking spaces.
I believe that should be 156 with.
One would think, I would agree with that, yeah. But that's what the license says,
Oh.
at least if I'm looking at the right license.
I think I pulled Connemara Farms.
This says 116 Boston Street.
Let me change the license. Okay, floor plan is up, it's under plan of operations,
Thank you.
under the common vic. And give me 30 seconds and I'll change the license.
This is what we call real-time progress.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't prepare the license then, we did, it sounds like. Is that right?
That was me, that was me.
Okay.
They have to pay the $200.
They'll just call Mr. D'Ambrosio and he sends it over.
Okay. So we are fixing 2 things. We now have the map of the barn as part of the victualler's license. And we are fixing the license application to
Yes, 'cause
reflect
down
the
there it
proper
says
number.
240.
156 and 65.
What the hell is this?
Alright,
Where is
well,
this
I
going?
am appeased once those things are done.
Oh, my night is complete. Raphael
Is
is
that,
appeased.
Sam, is
You
that
and I
a,
agreed, he's been appeased, what is coming up of this meeting?
is that a thing you're doing now, or is that something
doing
we
it right
just
now.
do the motion
No, I'm doing
contingent
it,
upon?
I'm doing it right now.
What if I make the motion slowly?
Okay,
Can you go
no
like
pressure.
really slow? Hold on,
I'd like to just
156
make the
seating
right motion.
capacity.
How about that?
Well, I'm ready to do
And then
that.
how many parking spaces?
65.
Thank
Is that right?
you.
65?
We're going with it. You
Well,
sounded
that tells you
confident.
the other place has 240 and only 40
Yeah,
parking
it feels like a
spots, so-
bad,
Yeah, that's a tough ratio there. Yeah.
Save.
the new sign looks great.
Thank you.
I've already vamped on the menu and the sign now, so.
Well, you need to come to the
Yeah,
next ECDC meeting.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting a free meal out of that though.
No, not probably, and nobody invites me to weddings anymore, so the chances of me getting up there are pretty small.
You end up on the log.
Yeah, and I don't wanna be on the log.
Don't be in the log.
Is that an old time?
And I don't drink, so imagine what I'd have to do to get
The
on the
log
log.
that was in here.
Oh,
The cutoff.
Cut
Shut
off
up.
log.
They're gonna shut me off from Diet Coke.
That's enough, sir.
we've come close to having to
We
do
have.
that with certain members of your family.
Well, if my son shows up, just push him right back out the door, cause he will just set
you
up
wanna
underneath the
refresh
Diet Coke
and
tap.
check?
I just refreshed. Did I do it too
This
early?
guy has never had a beer.
It's true.
Has
I've
never had a beer.
Never?
in my life.
Oh, something else new signed up too.
Pure as the driven snow.
I don't know about that. Okay.
Which one am I looking at, Sam?
I just replaced it.
How do we
Common Vic
refresh
app?
these things, by the way?
No,
Do we have to close?
2025
literally
12
just-
Evermore at Pierce Farm.
Okay.
Right there.
Oh, okay. So it's just like any other refresh. Pause the refreshes.
Alright, those numbers look good?
Good catch, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
It's just one of those things.
Alright, any motions?
I'm gonna move to approve the 2025 common victualer's license for the Evermore at Pierce Farm Estates located at 116 Boston Street in the beautiful town of Topsfield with an expiration date of December 31, 2025.
Second.
Any other
Is
discussion?
including the word beautiful gonna avoid this motion somehow?
It's in the
Is that gonna make
minutes.
it not
In the
make it
minutes.
I think we should do it more often, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Alright, great. Common vic license.
Thank you very much, thank you, I appreciate all your time, thank you.
Thanks for
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patience, you know.
Appreciate us getting that.
Yeah.
Look forward to having everybody come by for a visit.
Yeah, if this has taken more of your patience than you expected, I apologize, but if we can do it right now,
The speed of
you know,
government.
you're ready to roll.
We'll get that.
Alright.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Alright, let me just check backwards. Next up
Here we go.
is surplus. Thank you.
You and I are not gonna be bidding on this surplus. Have you looked at the list?
I looked at the list and I have a question on the list. I didn't look at the price. So turn it over to Mr. Hartunian.
So,
Surplus.
we always look to find efficiencies in our operations, and one thing that Superintendent Wiles has done over the last handful of years is try to find multi-purpose equipment. Some of the investments over the few years, it's allowed them to use one piece for multiple seasons, doing multiple things. As a result, some of the equipment that we've had, the older equipment that was
Committed to one job.
exactly, those pieces of equipment have had less and less use, and some to the point of no use at all. And with that, coupled with the fact that our tractor had a significant failure, that it's actually one of the pieces of equipment, so it's not catastrophic, it's just a significant failure.
How much are we gonna sell that for?
It's gonna be fine, like $8,000. So hopefully, with that, the idea is we've bundled a number of items, number of pieces of equipment together for surplus. And the idea would be is that would help offset potential costs of purchasing the new piece of equipment to replace the tractor that had the significant failure. And the net cost is, I think, what we're estimating based on what we've gotten verbally for trade-in value for these pieces of equipment. Would end up being about $1,500 out of the park and cemetery and $1,500 out of the highway. So $3,000 for a brand new piece of equipment that we would use on a very regular basis.
It's very inexpensive. $3,000 for a tractor?
After you net out the
Oh, gotcha, yes.
the trade-in
Yes.
or surplus value of these other pieces of equipment.
So you're saying that one of these, is this top one, did you say one had an issue?
One of them that they use pretty heavily.
It's not in the list though.
I think it is. I believe
Oh.
it's the top one
I was
actually.
gonna say, it must be that 2000.
And
It's
they've
a
repaired it?
handsome looking tractor.
And they've repaired it?
No, we went out and asked if anyone wanted to buy it, and they said yes. And so we knew there was some value there. Coupled with and then we coupled some other old pieces of equipment together to then surplus. Space is tight up at the highway garage, and so looking at old inventory we no longer use, maximizing the value through a disposition of those pieces of equipment allows us to offset the cost to replace the equipment that just had a significant failure.
So is this gonna be a trade-in, or is this gonna be a used equipment cash sale and you use the money for something else?
So we have value on each of these from a trading. I have to speak with Superintendent Wilds. Suggested that it's our best interest to maximize its value by putting it out for surplus.
So whatever generates the most money, that's what.
If surplus comes in less than what the trade-in is, then we'll look to trade in. If surplus comes in greater, then we've made more money to offset the cost.
Can I ask, how do we, I mean, all these robotic lawnmowers is how we now have 5 surplus mowers?
Well, it's 3 tractors and 2 mowers.
Yeah, one's a Landec, two's.
The tractor I shouldn't think of as a mower?
No, the tractors aren't, I think with tractor, it's like a ride-on mower that I would use in my
Yeah.
backyard.
Yeah.
When I first saw the list, I thought the same thing. Those are larger piece of equipment, usually with a bucket in the front.
Typically backhoes and.
And a backhoe in the back.
Yeah.
That's usually the multi-purpose. Yep, that's
They're-
it.
They're tractors, they're not mowers.
That's right, that's right. I actually, it's funny you said that. I had the same conversation when I first.
I've made it bigger in case anyone wants to.
Well, they do have one that does do the mowing like over at Wheatlands that looks like that. So
They can drag behind them on a
where are
mower.
you seeing pictures of this?
I just Googled it.
Oh,
So that's not our actual.
No, this is not ours, but it is against a mountain of hay and a lovely red barn.
So if we had bought an entirely new piece of equipment similar to ours, it would look like that.
That's a 2005.
It'd be.
I went so far as to Google the year and everything.
The price we received, I think, is $42,000 for a brand new tractor, which, although 2005 vintage does not look much different today than it did back then. Small changes,
They
but
broke.
John Deere's a pretty consistent looking tractor.
And let me just ask, we turn 3 in and get a brand new tractor, that one is sufficient to do all the jobs we have in town we need it to do?
Coupled with the other piece of equipment we bought over the years, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
the
we bought
robotic
other pieces of equipment.
Okay, so this isn't bringing us just down to one tractor.
No.
We still have others.
There's other pieces that would supplement that tractor in other ways, where these were one specific tractor purposes that when we consolidated the department, there was some consolidation of the need for multiple tractors and multiple mowers. So we're able to buy one in some instances and then couple that with some of the single pieces that were purchased that have multi-purposes to them, some plow, some sweep, some.
It was part of the discussion when we consolidated, the fact that, Park and Cemetery had their own equipment and their own people that operated the equipment, separate from Highway that had their own equipment and their own people who operated the equipment. Consolidating meant we didn't need as much equipment.
But we're still consolidating more for selling 3 and getting rid of and getting one back.
I would generally think that there's no way Gary's gonna put himself in the hole of where he needs more stuff.
These equipment were not being used, and if they were, it was very limited, and the uses are being supplemented.
You gotta put some faith in the guy that's making this decision about, he knows what he's got to do, he knows what his job is. And he's not gonna cut himself short on equipment so that he can't do the job, because he's a very conscientious employee, so you gotta put some faith in who the guy is and what he's about.
And his ability to withstand pressure from the surplus collector.
I'm gonna move to declare items presented as surplus.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Okay.
That's it.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes. Moving on, sticking with mowers. Item F, Public Works, donation of 3 Husqvarna robotic mowers.
Now we're getting into some really cool stuff.
Is this, we heard about this before, right?
Deja vu.
These
This is
are
our
coming.
second round of donated smaller robotic lawnmowers.
From the same donor?
Yes. These ones weren't working as the way they wanted on a much hillier
Hilliers
locations, and we certainly can take advantage of them here in Topsfield in our parks and some park and cemetery spaces. And so yeah, we're very grateful for the donation once again.
Are we allowed to say who the donator is, or are they remaining anonymous?
It's
Well, he donated them in a public meeting, so.
That was the last set.
No, I think this is that set.
This is that set?
I can't keep track of all the sets. There's been a lot that we've gone mostly through donation. So we'll have 2 large mowers, and then this will bring our fleet, I think, up to 5 of the small ones.
5, I think.
Okay, so then it is.
So it is the set that he mentioned.
I know, we get the news.
So-
Now we're gonna have to name the entire, that's why we haven't named the family yet, because it keeps growing.
Well, in that case, since he did it in a public meeting, I don't mind saying thank you to Mr. Tim Collins for the donation.
Yeah, so we'll have 7 robotic lawnmowers.
That's correct.
5 small, 2 big.
We're gonna have a fleet of these things.
But I
We
think
already do.
including these 3, the last previous 2 that he donated are not in use yet.
They were, I don't know if I all of them have the intention, if they're not currently operating, to be operated. The larger ones go on the larger fields, specifically one at Pie, one at Clock, and then the small ones do infield, at the softball and baseball fields, Little League field, sorry. Do the finer work there. And now there's conversation that we might try to utilize some of them down here in the downtown, possible. It's really important though that, being our flagship area and our team does amazing work, our DPW staff, that some of the things that the robotic lawnmower can't do, the team's available to do that, and out here is important as well. So Veterans Plaza is an example, in front of Town Hall, in front of the church. The Common might be an opportunity where we utilize that resource.
Small plots are not easy to do with this technology.
That's
large plots work well.
And at the end of the day, the dedicated person edging and mulching and seeing the little things that is really important, that they're there and able to have the time with the redirection with these lawnmowers to be able to pivot to the detail work. That's really important. The other location is Proctor Field. When we do the capital improvements, hopefully in the next year there, and I have an update on that with my TA updates. It could be conceived that one of the mowers possibly could be out there as well, but not until we make the improvements to the field.
I'm gonna move to accept a donation of 3 Husqvarna robotic mowers.
Second.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We've already covered item G, Council on Aging bus, so that brings us to item H, AFSCME Council 93, Collective Bargaining Agreement. Mr. Hartunian.
Mr. Chair, thank you. In front of you is the fully incorporated first library unit contract expanding from July 1st, 2025 till June 30, 2028. Incorporates the MOU or MOA, I should say, between the town and the union, as well as the base contract that we use, the ASME contract, that's the DPW contract, that's already been approved by the town in our KP legal. Stripped out the items that were not relevant to a library, like boot allowance, as an example, and then incorporates different elements like sick bank was some of the last language we finalized. But it has everything that we agreed to. The pay schedule is the same as what was agreed to in the MOA. And everything in here associated outside the sick bank, for the most, I think just the sick bank is language that's previously been approved through the ASME contract we had before. And the sick bank was reviewed and signed off on by KP Law as it's written.
So there is nothing in this contract that we as a board haven't already discussed and voted on because
Correct.
of the MOA. This is just taking the MOA, which we already discussed and voted on, and are putting it into the contract.
That is correct. The only thing was the sick bank. That was something we said tentative language, and then that's where KP came in and signed off on it. KP had one tweak or small tweaks that were off the language, but it was important. KP put it in, but it wasn't anything that changed the spirit of the sick bank language.
I may have said it twice to discourage in-depth conversation at this late hour.
Okay.
I'm going to move to click back on and move to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Topsfield and Topsfield Libraries AFSCME Council 93 for fiscal year 26 through 28.
Otherwise known as Ask Me.
Yeah, well, I'm spelling out the letters.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, and that brings us to the end of new business. With that, we will go to the select board updates and we'll get back to the usual order of things. We'll go down this way.
I've none.
None.
So I got a couple. I think the assistance that Alec has provided in helping to bring this forward, I think with the Evermore group is another example of how many talented, constructive, helpful people we have volunteering in this town, and how taking full advantage of them only magnifies both the quality and volume of work we can get done. And so I think, we should have an appreciation and use this as an indication of how productive it is to get them in these groups involved early and often. So that's one. Now the second one is a little more personal, but I guess there is a point for the town in there. That some of you know that we sold our house this past week and moved, and it turns out that I was pretty emotional about it. It's 41 years of family, friends, and history there. And I had actually written something up. It was a marketing piece, which was about how I think this is such a great house, in my personal opinion, it's such a great house for raising a family as a marketing piece. But then as I think about it, it's really kind of a sign of sort of the circle of life, in a sense, where we can improve the housing stock in Topsfield, and not necessarily having to build a house to do that. I mean, provide a house for a new young family, which this house is more appropriate for than it was for two more advanced people in age. So we provided a house for a new young family in Topsfield, and we got into a place that was good for us. And I think if we ever run into Stephanie and Michael Rada, the buyers, in the next several weeks, feel free to welcome them to Topsfield. So the last thing was because
As long
of
as
this
they don't
move-
complain about their trash bill.
Yeah. Or some other thing they've discovered. But
Termites, don't worry about those.
But in any event, I had an opportunity because of this wonderful move to test out the cardboard recycling facility over at the DPW area. And I'm here to report that they were filling up a dump truck there with some sand or mulch or whatever with a front end loader, and they made the effort to allow me to get in past their operation and drop off the cardboard. So I think that's working well over there, and I appreciate the cooperation that was given me when I went over.
I have used it several times. You can do it on your way to something. It's just right off Route 1. You drive up there, slide the cardboard in, drive away. Very easy.
Yeah, so good facility, good support people, and that's it from me.
All right, Mr. Jackson?
Well, I didn't have much to talk about until he spouted off, but now I gotta tell you, since he sold his house and moved, we have to accept him at Great Hill. And that will become a problem, okay, probably, but he's already signed up to play in the golf thing, didn't you?
I did, but then I had to renege
Oh,
because
you
I
had
had
to
something
renege,
else.
okay. Well, so he's already getting involved, and so we're anticipating that and looking forward to it. Glad to have you up there. And we have another citizen that has just bought a place at Great Hill. John Kinnon and his wife are moving to Great Hill. They bought a place about a week ago, and I think there's still some things that are hanging in limbo in terms of selling their place and financing the new one and all that, but they expect to move to Great Hill as well. So first thing you know, Great Hill is gonna become the center of Topsfield.
Parsonage is still there.
So it's a good place to escape to when they wanna kick you out.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Ms. Mercier-Link.
I just had a few items just to say thank you as we close out the summer. We had a lot of great events and activities across town that I think are definitely worth mentioning and thanking people for. So Cultural Council and the library, because they sponsored one of the concerts on the Common, they were great this year. I think there was one that had to be canceled, but then they doubled up on the last one. So thank you to the Cultural Council for the concerts, the Rec Department for the homegrown markets, so Rec Department and Town Hall. And also for the summer program that was held at Proctor, which was quite the success. That's thank you to Town Hall, TAA, and the volunteers. So all of these things happen mostly because of volunteers and the work at Town Hall, so very much appreciated.
Can I throw one more in there? So I was wandering through the Pocket Park, we talked about activating the Pocket Park. The Boy Scouts were having some sort of event there.
Cub Scouts.
They had Boy Scout uniforms on.
Oh, the Boy Scouts were helping the Cub Scout.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that explains one comment I heard. So they had something with gutters where they're
Rain gutter regatta.
buckets of water were creating some sort of race with little tiny boats down the gutters. I came too late to see that exciting event, but I did ask them where Raphael was. Wasn't he part of the park? They said, well, he's been out of this for a while now. So maybe the Cub Scouts thing explains that, right? Because you're still.
So that ended at 12. That ended at 12 on Saturday. I was somewhere on River Road, gasping for air, trying to run up Prospect Hill. By the time I got to the Pocket Park, they were gone.
Okay.
Going uphill on River Road, that's a long
turn
haul.
left. Yeah.
I got a text from somebody who was involved in that Cub Scout thing. Just wanted to tell you that the Pocket Park is awesome. The Cub Scouts did our event there yesterday, and it just felt so natural, like we belonged there. Not to mention food right there, bathroom right at Zoomies or Alex's. We had to grab something at the hardware store, which was also right there. It is very nice.
And they texted him, who was never the Cub Master.
Well,
have to have words with this mysterious person. Excellent. All right. Speaking of the Pocket Park, on my end, I noticed one of the umbrellas is broken again. So I think we're on round 2 of umbrellas. So we're gonna have to come up with a plan on what to do with them.
So I was actually had a conversation with member Mercier-Link on that. I noticed Thursday of last week when I was grabbing coffee, and Deb put in an order for it last week. We should have it this week to replace. We've now, those cost about $70 each. We factor in just like mulch or just like seating. It's an ongoing cost that we'll see probably at least once every year for each of the tables to replace those.
Yeah.
Just because they're out and exposed wear and tear. Not everybody closes them like we would in our own backyards. We expect that. So it's a little bit, I hate saying this, it's something of the cost of doing business with those. But I know it's very popular that people like enjoy it. And when those umbrellas are not out, people tend not to want to sit out in the sun areas. So it's sort of a necessary
Well, as winter comes, we wanna think about some time we put them away, cause with the winds picking up, they're just gonna break more often.
We put them away last year,
Yeah.
and the tables.
Yeah, we try to keep them out while the weather's decent because people do tend to still utilize those. But they come out, they'll probably be up for at least through the Topsfield Fair, if not a little bit longer.
Now, I have a fairly frequent source of constructive comments, and they mentioned that the COA area the umbrella seems to stand up longer. Is that because there's different use, or is that a different design?
So it's literally next to the building, so it's part of our campus, so we're able to keep an eye on it. A lot of times what happens is people utilize those out of sight downtown. Our DPW keeps typically the regular eyes on that space, are out by 3 o'clock. You know, if somebody uses it, opens it up, doesn't close it, wind comes through, it doesn't take much for them.
So those are more likely to stay open after hours and.
It's mostly when people use them and leave them
Winter.
open. So if anyone's using the park in the evening, you're one of the last, feel free to close them. Some of our business owners do, if they think of it, they'll close it too. We have some really great helpers, Tom Capono and others, who will actually go out and water the plants and close the umbrellas when they see them, but just, they're used by the public very often, much more. A lot of the space over here is used by either school or town, so we're able to keep a closer eye on those umbrellas. And I think they might be a little more hardier, those umbrellas, than the ones we pick up.
I might look at the design, see if it's different.
I was just gonna make a comment that the ones at the pocket park seem to me, fairly fragile. And there might be some that might be more heavily endowed or something to withstand a little more rough treatment. So it might be worthwhile looking into some other sources of.
Okay. Couple other things, these are coming through as requests for us to look into. One is dead signs. So the example was caution deaf child from maybe somebody who lived there 30 or 40 years ago and there's no longer a deaf child there. I don't know if we have any. We probably just don't do any sort of like review, like what signs do we have in town and are they still relevant?
It's usually by request, to be honest with you, because most of the team hasn't been here for 30 years and are aware that the sign was put up 30 years ago for a specific purpose. But usually someone will let us know, hey, the sign's been up for a while at the end of my street, can you take a look and take it down? We'll do a little investigation, we'll take it down. It's usually one-off, it's not like a comprehensive study or anything of that nature.
Yeah, somebody asked for a comprehensive study and gave 3 examples, so if I
Seems like a good Eagle Scout project.
There you go. They're better at putting signs up though.
Well, I'm
We're
taking
gonna
it.
take them down.
Yeah, you'd have to do a little survey of the neighborhood or something, see if the current conditions.
And then
It would be a lot of work, cause you'd have to check with a lot of people to make sure you're comfortable with us taking the sign down.
Right.
There's a lot of signs in town, yes, dead signs are there, they exist in every community. It's just a
so do
prioritization
we
of our
send
capacity.
folks to the traffic advisory committee for that, or does it come through the
If they let-
select board office?
If
or-
they let us, you can let myself know, they can let our public safety team know, they can let Gary Wilds know, the
Okay.
chief, anybody, if somebody has a sign concern. I did get an email from somebody similar, might have been the same person.
Probably the same.
So
And
maybe
then-
those 3 they can.
And I'll tell you that any sign that slows people down, even if the reasons for doing so have passed, I'm not gonna take that sign down.
And then the other one was about the increase of throttle bikes. So as I was e-bikes that you don't have to pedal at all. So
Everywhere.
as I was sucking wind, as I mentioned, going up Prospect Hill,
What are we doing Prospect Hill, if I may ask?
running.
For the race that you're gonna miss, hopefully.
Are you practicing? This was
It's called training.
Why are you gonna miss?
You were running or biking? I thought you were running.
Running.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't know we had
But
to practice for this now.
I saw a young lad on a throttle bike, probably doing 30 or 40 miles without a helmet,
Yeah.
go around a vehicle
Oh, yeah.
in the middle of the street, just right around it. So I don't
Past
know.
the moving vehicle?
Past the moving vehicle. Not being smart. I mean, other than public service announcement, make sure your kids know how to ride a bike. They're not bikes though.
This is bigger than Topsfield. I mean, these electrical bikes, whether they have pedal assist or not, they're going at the same speed as cars. They're in the street, and there's no rulings about how to regulate.
That's where bikes belong.
Where?
We're in the street.
He said they're not, oh, they
No,
they are
he
in
said
the
they're in the street.
Well, they're
That's
in-
where bikes
they're
go.
I think
They're
he
in moving
means-
traffic.
Well,
Again, that's where bikes go.
Just an observation over the last 5 years, we've had some ebbs and flows with some of the younger members of our community. A few years ago, it was on bikes without bicycle helmets, on sidewalks, going and weaving inside of traffic, popping wheelies, became a little problematic. Solved for it with school coming back in session, eventually those children getting a little bit older, and I think mature. We're seeing an uptick more recently with people on the e-bikes. Those e-bikes are responsible for some of the damage we had at the Pocket Park. We talked about that a couple of meetings ago.
Trail now too.
Rail trail and the investment we just made and the improvements we made on the Proctor tennis courts. It's ongoing. I saw 2 of them pop out of Proctor's walkway and onto the grass and then onto the road and down Main Street and back again this afternoon. We see it very regularly. They shouldn't say universally, but typically when I see younger members of our population on those e-bikes, they're not always being as respectful or responsible and safe. It's an ongoing battle. It's an ongoing challenge, just like it was a few years ago with the bicycles. And we've had certain conversations at certain times. They used to ride right behind Town Hall, and we told them to knock it off, and they didn't come back. And we appreciate that. They were respectful during that conversation. They respected the request. But it's increased the number. It's been damaged. We've talked about that as a result. And my position is heavy-handed. You know, as soon as you see somebody do something that's inappropriate, young or old, doesn't matter. Got to make sure they understand the severity of what they did and repercussions are the result of it. So that is a conversation I've had with the chief. We're keeping an eye on it. There's a lot. Unless they're actually breaking the law, though, technically, you really can't do too much. But
that's what I'm
bringing them
wondering,
down,
if
bringing them home in a police
Massachusetts,
car.
maybe we bring it up with our state reps. Maybe there should be, you know, there's speed limits for cars. Do those apply to e-bikes? I don't know.
well, there are laws that are associated with them, just to give you a couple. So the throttle only needs a license and a registration.
Oh,
So
they clearly don't have those.
that's
I think
exactly
it's
right.
hard to resolve.
In the state of Massachusetts, if you're under the age of 17, you must by law wear a helmet.
Also no. All right, so there are already rules in the books. They're just
And one more I'm gonna note, it is illegal for any e-bike, whether it's pedal assist or not, to be on a sidewalk.
What about regular bikes?
There is no regulation.
All right.
And I don't know if we have a town bylaw, so, on that one.
So circling back to my point, roads are where the bikes belong.
There are some of us that just aren't as smart as others, so that's what we gotta put up with. And bikes have a place on the road, and if they're doing dumb things on the road with an e-bike or a regular bike, that's...
I would humbly argue that there are far more people doing dumb things in cars than the people on bikes, so.
People on bikes are more vulnerable.
Well, there's no question.
So next up, the town administrator's report.
Got about 40 things I want to cover tonight.
Excellent.
In depth, please.
Very much so. Budget, warrant, and CapEx, capital 5-year plan. Had a little bit of time, a window, and hearing our goal setting discussions. Very purposely trying to get ahead of that, have a draft warrant, very preliminary, that we'll go over next week at our work session. A schedule for our budget process and warrant process, which we'll go over next week. And very preliminary, carrying over last year's fiscal request into this year for capital. That's a very preliminary. I have to talk with the department heads before sharing that one. But point being, we're already thinking about it. We just got into September. Usually it's later this month when we start thinking about it, but to the points in discussion, that's why I think goal setting is one of the best things coming out of it. Is the feedback's important and it's useful and we can execute off of that. So started that process, more to come on that. Had a very good and I think preliminary and productive conversation with DCR relative to a property in town and a stewardship program that has not done its civic duty paying taxes on that property for some time. I don't want to get into the details because we might get into negotiations and maybe more than that, but the right people, I believe, are at the table and having discussions in good faith to try to help resolve the issue. An issue that's been around for over 15 years. So it's a little bit of 15, something of a pride at this point. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's see if we get a result. I like good challenges. I think a lot of the
Yeah, well, this is worth the effort. No question.
And honestly,
It's worth the effort.
even if we don't,
Absolutely.
if we're not successful, at least we're putting every effort forward to try to get this right, at least to stop the bleeding going forward and to recoup what we haven't seen in the past. We're already underway with the fair prep. That happens literally the day after the fair ends from the year prior, but we're within a month of less than a month of the fair, 21 days, I think Chief said at the department meeting this morning. And they're well underway from a public safety standpoint. I checked with our new Board of Health Director. They're working through the inspections and getting that ready, communicating with the fair on that. And I know the fire department's hard at work as well, doing their part. It takes a whole team. Fortunately, we have a very seasoned team. We do have some new people involved as well. But safety is our number one job as municipal leaders. And our team does, I put our team up against anyone in the state when it comes to thinking about public safety and ensuring that we're doing everything we can with the resources we have to ensure the safety of this community and the guests of our community when they come in for the fair. So thanks for your efforts, Chief. Littlebrook had a visit last week from the Secretary of the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, Secretary Augustus. It was a site visit and a meeting and a sit down with Talisa Rafferty, the chair of the Housing Authority, as well as the new leadership that is the management and facilities, which is actually the Beverly Housing Authority. They've taken over Topsfield, which is great. They seem like a great team, going to do some good work for us. The secretary surprised us with saying that they were going to provide bridge funding for our facade project. That's been, if you remember, through our warrant article conversations with Talisa last year about creating an account so people could donate and they could raise funds to help. Facade was the number one project on their to-do list. Funding's not there. This bridge funding will allow for this project to move forward, which is phenomenal. We're very grateful. Unexpected, but very grateful.
Is bridge funding like a loan or a grant, or what is that?
They're just gonna cut the check, the difference, is my understanding.
Okay.
And I had lots of witnesses to the secretary saying that, so we're gonna make sure that happens.
We're being recorded.
Yeah. 375th, I think we've talked about this before by way of update. That working group made up of a number of members of the community, including Mr. Kinnan, who you mentioned earlier, Martha Morrison, Debbie Morong in my office. Sam is occasionally stepping in and out of those meetings while doing everything else she does in a given day. We have Josh Round, Bruce Spalding. Don't want to forget anybody. The couple of, I said Martha, yeah, a couple of members. Oh, Liz Mulholland. Sorry, that was the one. Liz Mulholland and her son Andrew. And Tom Rose has joined the team as well. Great group, having a lot of fun with it. Getting the details is really important. But just as a reminder, October 18th, which will be 2 days after the formal birthday of Topsfield, which is October 16th. On October 18th, that Saturday, there'll be events starting at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and then 4:30 will be a block party right here at our COA patio, which we're excited for. So thank you to everybody in their work on that.
Will we start advertising that?
Yes, we will. So that was part of our conversation today. We're ordering the flags. The presentation's ready to go. We're getting the band. We're getting food trucks. Marble Ridge is already committed for wine. You call Paul about seeing if the Alfalfa Farm wants and Essex County Brewery wants to provide the beer.
So we've got to get a single day liquor license too.
We will. That's right. All the details matter. That's the anticipation.
30 days in advance.
Well, it won't be 30 days in advance, but it will be a nonprofit, local nonprofit, and we're looking at reaching out to either TESPO, or maybe the Friends of the COA potentially as well, or maybe even a co-sponsorship if they're interested. But really great opportunity. 375 is a big deal, and it's a great opportunity to combine different people from this community, whether they've come to a block party before or not. Celebrating the history of the community at the same time it could be a lot of fun. It will be a lot of fun.
What's the words for 375th?
No, don't have that.
He
might.
Dodrans Quadricentennial. Dodrans Quadricentennial. So it's quadricentennial is 400. Dodrans is 25 minus. Because remember in Roman numerals they do the minus thing first.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
we talked a little bit about Caleb Group. Caleb Group has been funded for their project, the 44 units of housing, affordable housing, behind Emerson Center. Had a first meeting with the developer, Caleb Group. They will be looking to come in the next month or so to a select board meeting to give a full update on where they are. Believe we talked a little bit about it. As of a couple weeks ago, they're at 70% design. If you get to 100%, then they go out to bid set, which will be this fall. Get a general contractor on board. Sometime a little less than a year from now, they'll be looking to get fully financed and lock in the financing. And then at that point, they'll go live with the project, which will take 14 months plus or minus. One of the most important things that we've talked about with them is communication to the residents, updates of what's going on. So first step is come here to the board. Second will be to have another community meeting, and then they have planned to do some abutter meetings, smaller groups over on site thereafter as well. Beginning of a long process, but important one. And like we have all along with this project, we'll make sure we're at the table, understanding their next steps, understanding what the impacts of Topsfield might be, and making sure the best possible project comes out of the ground at the end of the day.
Do we have a basic timeline? Like they want to be done by 2027, 2028?
I think I get back into that math based on the timelines that I just gave. So it'd be a year and then another year. So it's probably December of 27, possibly. I would though defer to them to confirm those dates.
Okay.
I'm giving you high estimates at this point that I'd feel more comfortable that they provide the dates and timelines they think is realistic.
When do you think they might come to one of our meetings?
So I gave them 4 dates, 2 in September, 2 in October. So those are the dates that they need to check their calendars and come to. Nothing will happen though significant prior to them coming based on their timelines. The first next step is to finish the plans, which won't happen until later this fall, and then get a general contractor. So still some work to do. Trash, very quickly, we've got our first July and August bills. The bottom line is trash tonnage is down, recycling tonnage is up, and composting numbers are up. Very good.
All good things.
All great things, yeah. It's good for the environment, it's good for the financials. And generally, I've talked to a lot of people. Generally, people have been pretty happy with the plan. What it looks like, the aesthetics, the cleanliness, the equity about it. And it was all data driven. It was based on conversations. Our seniors said smaller the better. Build that baseline, layer in options for people with different needs to be able to make it work. And they have, the people I've spoken with.
So the inventory at the hardware stores now is adequate?
Yeah,
The shipments?
once that shipment came in, we were in good space. I think as of at the end of last week, we had 227 since July 1st, second bins ordered. And we have adequate bins, more than that, what's been ordered in possession.
Okay.
This family of 6 is doing just fine with one of each.
And we started.
That's a big thing because that was.
I mean, everyone, all of the social media content is, I'm a family of 1 and I need 7 barrels. So,
maybe not exactly.
I would say,
I may be exaggerating, but what I'm telling you is I was a robust family of 6 this summer, before people returned to college, and we never even had to ice cream cone the garbage can. Like, it was lid closed. I, as previously mentioned, have made use of the cardboard drop off, but it is so quick and it's so easy. I mean, I think driving to Georgetown is easy, but this is right here.
Yeah,
And
it is. It's on the way to almost everything.
That it just, anyone left complaining isn't trying.
and I'll say this in person or over the phone or emails, COA, people I talk to on the street. At this point, I'm getting very little of no negative feedback on the plan.
And to be fair, social media has mostly gone with it as well.
Yeah.
As we expected. Give it a few weeks and
This is the initial, every
get
community,
used to it. And
every community has made a transition.
He asked us to give it 2 months and let's see how it works.
yeah, we're
And that's where we are.
I was pleasantly surprised with the design of the barrels, because I had occasion to really jam stuff in there tight, in the last month or so. And it all dumps right out. I had thought it might get stuck in there, but it didn't.
They're robust barrels.
Yeah.
I had to clean one of mine out the other day, and boy, they were Well, it wound up with some stuff in it that I wanted to clean up, but they're robust, they're viable pieces of machinery, in my opinion.
We started composting, and today I went to take the compost out, so I said, you know what, this is heavy, how much is this?
Black Earth or your own little stack?
Our own little, we're starting with our own little in the yard.
Yeah.
And it was close to 5 pounds, and we do that several times a week. So.
That's what happens.
Now, who's the main carrier of the material to the back pile there? Is it-
100% of the time.
Oh, look there, he's pointing at her.
100% of the time,
No kidding.
yes.
Oh, congratulations.
She's gonna send the bill, the town a bill.
Well, I've made this point before, it is amazing how much this stuff weighs. And how much you can get rid of that we don't pay a tipping fee.
That's right.
And I tell people that 2 things about composting. One is you're doing a good thing for the earth, and the second thing, we're reducing the cost of our
Right.
tipping fee. I never thought about that.
And the Black Earth containers, they are pretty tightly, when you put them, the top down, it's pretty tight.
I mean, it has a,
You really don't get a leakage, yeah.
It's hard to get the lid off.
lock.
So last update is I just thank you to our town hall staff, our town employees, our police and fire, our library, DPW. End of the summer, you know, a lot of people have finished up some projects, people getting back into getting ready for the budget season. Able to do a little appreciation cookout last week. A few of the members of the board were able to make it. Thank you for joining and supporting the team and supporting us. But really that was all about our team and the great work they're doing. And so we did a little cookout on the COA patio for the first time. We've done a cookout out there before it was the papers were in. World of a difference. Felt purposeful being out there. And it was just a really great time. And I will say, and I say this out loud, that Connor, our assistant treasurer, did take home the championship of the cornhole tournament that played at that
With?
as well.
You can't play cornhole on your own.
You can singles. It was single game. Yeah, it was really cutthroat actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Marshall beat me.
I will say
I'll give
I
you-
did.
I'll give you that.
You owe me $1.
I have to be remiss not to say that Debbie Moran represented us really well from the TA's office, going through the semifinals. I think.
Yeah, she made it pretty far.
And Jackie down, our conservation agent, had an injury to her thumb. She's a righty, so played lefty. And won her first round game, lefty, and then I played her, and I realized she was playing lefty, and thought to myself, if she beats me lefty, and I'm playing righty, that's gonna be a bad look. So I played lefty the rest of the game myself, and that was
That's why you
uncomfortable. I
lost?
never done that before.
And she still beat you?
But it was a lot of fun. Everybody had a really good time, and ready to take on the budget season. Here we come.
Now, Michelle, maybe you could assign your $1 of income for the year to Marshall to pay off your
She
debt.
already did.
I had to give it to him, yes.
All right, thank you. I'll point everybody to some correspondence, mostly about clock tower, Gary Bergman giving some tours of the clock tower. With that, are there any other motions?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned.